This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. This is Clock Blockers. Let's go.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter column.
What up, baby? Clock Blockers. Super excited to be here. It is your boy, Stephen D. I'm back. I'm back. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is good morning to my family, my Finlaws. Super excited to be hanging out with y'all today. It is the #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers. I'm your host, Stephen Daniels. You can follow me on all social media at Stephen D SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. What's going on, man? It's Victory Monday. It's Victory Monday as far as I'm concerned. You can also follow Miami Sports Music everywhere at Miami Sports Music, except online where we are at MIA Sports Music. Also want to remind you to hit that like button on your way in. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. No, seriously, subscribe. Okay? Make sure y'all do that. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. Got over 11,000 subscribers. We're working our way to 12K, and we can't do it without you tonight. So make sure y'all do that. Okay? Hey, look, if you want to sign up to become a member today, there are plenty of seats waiting at the table for you. We'd love to see you sign up to become a member today. Like, share, everything. John 83, Adam Sadowski, Trucker Sean. Who else is in here? Cap for Life, Charles Hilton. I mean, just everybody, man. Super excited that everybody's in here today. Just hanging out that are members of the channel already. Tell them how awesome it is to become a member of the channel. Okay. If you want to help the channel grow by donating, there's a few different ways you can do it. You can use the YouTube Live Super Chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat, or you can use Cash App or PayPal, which is $MSM Podcast Network, or use the QR code that you see right on your screen, or you can use MSM Podcast Network, or use the QR code that you see right on your screen. I want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the show, Tailgreeter. Download the app today on your current Crapple or Android device, whatever it is that you got. Just download the app. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. Go to tailgreeter.com. We got some really awesome events still coming up. They're going to be absolutely amazing. And, we hope that you come to it. And one of those events, which is going to be, it's going to be awesome, is the FedEx Takeover in DC in a couple of weeks. We got some great stuff coming up for you for the FedEx Takeover. So if you want to come, we have limited tickets left for all-inclusive tailgate and bus tickets. Go to tailgreeter.com or download the app, search FedEx Takeover, and get them. You can still RSVP for the Saturday night meet and greet. We got a lot of cool stuff. So the FedEx Takeover, Dolphins, Commanders in DC. We have over 300 RSVPs for that game. It's going to be good stuff. So I am super, super stoked about it, and I hope that you are too. It's gonna be absolutely amazing. What's going on? How's it going? I'm back, baby. Super excited to be hanging out. Man, I'm back. I needed a week to kind of regroup. That had nothing to do with the Dolphins and them losing on Kansas City. And I'll get to it. I'll talk about it. I had some personal stuff I had to take care of, and I just decided to just relax and calm down. And so take some personal time, take care of some stuff. As you can see, I started the background of the room. You guys can see I got a new images up. I worked on stuff. I did some stuff while I was gone, which was good, and just had to take some personal time, which I needed. So I tell people all the time, this is a very, I've been doing this for 3 years now, and it doesn't get easier as you go forward. It gets harder. The hill gets steeper and higher as you move. So it's tough to do this sometimes. So I love the show. I love you, the fans. but I had to take some time for myself, which I needed. So, and it happened on a bye week, so it was good. Self-care is definitely much needed. So it was good. Was in Louisiana this past weekend at a funeral. Family friend passed away. You know, it was a good opportunity. My kids had never been to a funeral, 7 and 9, so it was a good, you know, it was time to be with family this week for me, and I just needed it, man. So Marty Marr says, I thought you were going to come back round and the background was going to be hooked up. Man, look, this Marty Marr, this thing's going to get going. This is going to take time, this background. It's going to take time. But I got you, Marty Marr. Don't tell me you have a Bass Pro Shops hat and you don't even fish. First of all, this is Finn's Pro Shop. Shout out to Vibes, by the way. Where's Vibes logo? Yeah, shout out to Vibes. Go to vibes.com. Give them some advertising. They're great. Love this hat. Vibes is awesome. So shout out to them. For the people that did reach out while I was gone, man, thank you. I appreciated that. It was nice to know that I was missed and needed and all that fun stuff. So people that reached out, I appreciate that. There was a few of you that did. So thank you. I didn't get back with a lot of people because I was just trying to take time for me, but I needed it and it was good. It was good to hear. Let me say hello to the people in the chat because I haven't said hello to a lot of people in the chat, man. I got who I got up in here. I got Marino's Goat. Patrick, who's the first person, said, my favorite morning show is back. Thanks, Stephen, for all the great content. Thank you, Patrick. Patrick, you need to become a member. Sign up today. There are plenty of seats, man. Let's see. We got Marty Marr is in the building. Cap for life. Why does everybody keep copying Miss Fins? What do you mean copying Miss Fins? What are you talking about? What did I copy Miss Fins for? Charles Hilton says, where you been the past couple days, man? I've been doing my thing, Charles. Been doing my thing. Charles is a member of the channel. Shout out to Charles. Charles, obviously, Steven had off, so Steven took his days off. Let's see here. I don't know, man. You can't be the #1 Miami sports talk station if you don't show up to work. I'm just saying. Cat for life, you're right. You're right, man. Corey Walker. NorCal's in the building. Let's go. It's Victory Monday after the losses by the Jets, the Pats. John 83 is in the building. John Featherland. Roach is in the building. What's up, Roach? How are you? Fraud Fins. We're not talking about that, Roach. Okay, I'm gonna come back and get you, Roach. Don't even worry. Don't even worry. Adam Sadowski is in the building. Mike Skaliski said, where you been, man? Hey, man, doing my thing. Zach Turk, my guy. Let's see here. Outside Steve can't sign up unless you outside. I like it. Outside Steve. We outside. Joel is in the building. Like it. Finn Sasson, you're back. Let's effing go. Finn Sasson was in Germany. Shout out to my guy. Had a good time out there, I heard. Stephen D, take the bye week. You've earned it. I appreciate it. I did. Thought she was going to come back. Yep, I'll get there, man. Proud of you, Stephen D. Fins up, brother. Appreciate it, Ryan AP. Somebody important. Can't wait to see the Bills Mafia take this L tonight. I would love to see it. Would make my day. Love the hat. Appreciate it. CJ Stroud is legit. CJ Stroud is legit, John 83. There is no doubt about that. I don't reach out because I know you needed that downtime. Trucker, you're the man. Don't even worry about it. Speaking of folks, where been gone, where Noob at? I don't know. Level 2 Noob doesn't love me anymore, I think. Flipside Fishing says, I love that hat. I had no idea that was a Finn's hat. I know, it's dope. It's probably my favorite hat right now. Lamar Bennett. Von 954 is in the building. Yerp. What up, man? What up, Von 954? Glad you got the Dolphins picture up, Steve. You got a Dolphins picture. Hey, man, look. I got the GOAT and the real GOAT. Shoes in the building. Don't worry, Steven. I love you. Best effing experience minus the last play. Yeah, that last 4 plays was rough. Felt good to see the Jets lose yesterday and CJ Stroud taking the Texans on to a new heights. Yeah, man, that kid is real. That kid is for real. All right, let's talk about a couple things because I've been gone for a week. Let's get into the Miami Dolphins talk. Hit the like button, donate to the channel, help the channel grow, all that fun stuff. Let's talk about the loss. We'll start there because I didn't come on last week. I didn't get a chance for you guys to hear my take on the loss. The Miami Dolphins. Actually, before I get into the loss, let me say this. We're 6-3. We're in first place in the AFC East. We're tied for third in the conference, only one game out of first place in the conference, to the team that beat us by a touchdown overseas. Miami is one of the best teams in all of the NFL. Let's just throw that out there. Miami is a top 5 team in the NFL right now. Your Dolphins, our Dolphins, is a top 5 team in the NFL right now. The Miami Dolphins have lost 3 games to the Buffalo Bills, who are a division rival, who have our number. And they lost to 2 teams that were in the Super Bowl last year. And by the way, both of those games were 1 possession away from winning. We're tying. We're making it even a closer game. We didn't get blown out. We didn't get killed. We just didn't figure out a way to get over that hump yet. And that's fine. We need to. I'm not saying we don't. But Miami, ladies and gentlemen, we're there. We're right where we need to be. It's not where we want to be, but we're right where we need to be. Let me tell you why we're right where we need to be. The mistakes that we made to lose to Philadelphia and the Kansas City games, I would rather make those mistakes during the regular season now, learn from those mistakes, and move forward so that by the time we get to the postseason and play better teams, we're not making those same mistakes now. Now, yes, that's an excuse. Yes, that's what all losing teams say. So be it. Those are facts. They're true, though. They're true. The Dolphins, in my opinion, are who we want to be. We're a team that has all the offensive weapons that it needs to. The defense has played against good offensive opponents. Their learning curve is getting better every week, that defense. And the offense needs to clean up some things. There's no doubt about it. Now, can I sit here and talk about what I've been talking about for a year and a half about Connor Williams snapping a football? You know I have. You know I will. You know I did. Y'all know how I feel about Connor Williams and his 1 to 2 bad snaps a game. It bit us in the ass in Germany. Right? Tua made some bad plays too. Tua, in my opinion, is playing like an MVP this year. Has he made every single pass? No. But he's playing like an MVP. And I'm going to tell you, in the next 5 games, when they go 5-0, and the Dolphins will go 5-0 in the next 5 games, and I can knock on wood. Y'all can say I'm jinxing. I'm telling you right now, the Dolphins are about to go 5-0 the next 5 games. And it's not even going to be close. So when we're sitting at 11-3, which we will be, because we're 6-3 right now, 5 more games from that makes 11 wins. We're sitting at 11-3 going into the last 2 weeks of the year, playing for the number 1 seed in all of the AFC, because we will. We will. We need to clean up mistakes. We need to get better and evolve at better things, and we are doing those things. Think about the first game of the year against the Los Angeles Chargers and where that defense was at compared to how that defense was against Kansas City. Night and day difference. And the Kansas City offense is better than the LA Chargers offense. Let's just get that straight. The Kansas City offense is better than that Chargers offense. Better football team, period. We held Patrick Mahomes to 0 points in the second half. We held that offense to 14 points scored. That fumble, it sucks. It's the way it happened. Am I going to get mad at Tyreek Hill for that? No. Not when Tyreek Hill's having a NFL breaking record season. No, not going to do it. Not going to do it. I get that y'all say, well, this offense disappears when it matters most. No, it doesn't disappear. It's not. We're playing better defenses. Philadelphia's defense was what, the number one defense in the NFL? Right? Kansas City's defense was legit. They're not bad. They are 100% exactly where we want them to be. Where we need them to be. Not where we want them to be, where we need them to be. Where I want them to be, I wanted them to have win one against Kansas City or Philly. Didn't happen. It did not. But that's okay. The Dolphins are moving forward where they need to move forward, and that is in defense. Players are stepping up when they need to step up. Flip side said it's not even a bad snap. It bounced off Tua's fingers. It was a bad snap. I'm not going to sit here and blame Connor for the loss. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to blame Mike McDaniel for abandoning the run. I'm not going to blame Tua for making some bad passes. It was a combination of all those things that played into the reason that we did not overcome what we needed to overcome in Germany. It was a bad snap. He did abandon the run. Tua did make some bad plays or didn't execute the plays he needed to execute. There were some drop passes. All those things play into account. And by the way, this is my opinion. You don't have to agree with it. I don't want you necessarily to. I'm going to bring you all on here in a minute. Because I want to get your thoughts. What is the state of DolFan Nation? I want you to give your take at the halfway point of the Miami Dolphins season and where you see this team. Because in my opinion, at the halfway point of the season, we have two potential MVPs of the NFL. We're 6-3. We're in first place. If I told you all that at the bye week, the Dolphins would be in first place, one game behind the number one seed, every person in this watching this show would have raised their hand and said, sign me up, take me. Yep, I want it. Every single person watching this show right now would have signed up for that. And by the way, and I'm also going to add the caveat to it, we haven't even played our best football yet, and we played a game where we scored 70 points. And we haven't even played our best football yet as a team. What do you want? And by the way, when Tua goes 5-0 in the next 5 games, averages over 300 yards and averages over 3 touchdowns, what are y'all going to say? What are y'all going to say when that happens? Right? 300 times 5 is 1,500 yards, right? Plus 15 more touchdowns. And maybe, we'll say 3 or 4 interceptions. I'm taking the over on 1,500 yards the next 5 games. I'm taking the over on 15 touchdowns, and I'm taking the under on 5 interceptions or less. Next 5 weeks, Dolphins go 5-0. Tua throws for over 1,500 yards. He averages more than 3 touchdowns a game. So that puts him at 15. I'm taking the over of 15 touchdowns, and I'm taking the under of 5 interceptions or less. Who's not? In the next 5 weeks, we're 5-0. We're going to be sitting at 11-3. And then we'll get a real test against Baltimore. Remember last year, I said the Dolphins were going 5-0. And 2 years ago, I said the Dolphins were going 5-0. I was right both those years. Ladies and gentlemen, I have another prediction. 3rd year in a row, I will have done it. Okay? 3 for 3. Dolphins are going 5-0 next 5 games. Guaranteed. And I still think we can win the last 2. It's not that I'm not confident that we can't win the last 2. I am. I'm just very confident that we win the next 5. Rick Sparrow, I'm not wrong. My first year of doing the show, I picked that we would go on a 5-game win streak. We were 100% right. I picked last year that we would go on our 5-game win streak. I was 100% right. And I'm telling you right now, we will go 5-0 the next 5 games. 3 years in a row, Steven predicts 5-0. And I will have been right 3 years in a row. Don't get me started. Yes, I make some bad guarantees. You're correct. We are going 5-0 next 5 games. Just saying. There's tape. Go back and look. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. I'm going to drop the link in here. I want to hear from you. I miss y'all. Haven't heard from y'all in a long time. I know y'all got some questions for me, and also have what y'all think y'all want to see. So I want to hear from you. What do y'all think of the state of the Miami Dolphins right now? I pinned the link to the top of the page. Y'all can get on up, get on up, get on up. I want to hear from you right now. Let's go. Lakers all day. Good morning, Lakers all day. What's up, man?
Good morning, Steven. How you doing, bro?
Okay. I'm back, man. I'm excited to be back.
That's good, bro. Now back to this nonsense you're talking right now, bro. Okay, listen. Look, listen, bro. Listen, we are a good team, right? We are 6-3. That's cool, team. Right? But listen, we played the Bills, right? Quarterback threw an interception, right? Mm-hmm. Eagles, interception, right? Chiefs, bad throw, left side, muff the snap.
Okay.
So if we have these good games, right, all the way till these 3 division, I mean, you know what I'm saying, these like good teams that we play, but in the fourth quarter, if our quarterback is out here throwing the ball bad, interception, muff snap, who's the problem, bro? Our quarterback has to get better, bro. Like, he can't be having these freaking bad throws, these bad interceptions at these crucial times of these games, bro. Because listen, look, check this out. Okay, look, we play the Raiders, right?
Yep.
They have a new coach, so they're gonna come here and they're gonna try to win against us, right? We play the Jets, Commanders. Okay, fine, we'll beat the Commanders, but they just have a good defense, right?
Yep.
Titans, a little bit, I don't know, but Jets, Cowboys, Ravens, and Bills. Come on, bro. Like,
all right, so
we have a great defense.
This is what I'm hearing from you,
our quarterback
and your hoarse voice. This is what I'm hearing from you. Okay, what I'm hearing from you is that our quarterback, our quarterback needs to step up, right? Our quarterback, who leads the NFL in
that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Leads in yards per game, who is up there in the top 5 of yards, top 3 actually. He's top 3 in yards. Period. He has the highest completion percentage of anybody in the league right now, if I'm looking at this correctly, which I believe that I am. And is also, so he's got 19 touchdowns. He's got over 2,600 passing yards, and he averages 289 yards per game. The only person that's averaging more yards per game is CJ Stroud at 291. Okay? That's it. Yeah. By the way, that kid is playing lights out. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, he is.
So, and he's averaging 8.5 yards per throw. And nobody else, the only other person that's remotely close to him is CJ Stroud. So, and his quarterback rating is 106. He is playing, he's top 3 or leading in every statistical category in the NFL. But he needs to improve. Come on, guys.
Yes. No.
Do you remember Ryan Tannehill? Do you remember Cleo Lemon? Do you remember Tyler Thigpen? Do you remember all these trash-ass quarterbacks that played for this team the last 20 years? We have a legit MVP-type player, and we're sitting here saying he's the problem on why we're not over the hump.
Because you know why you have to beat these good teams, bro. If you keep on messing up,
2 is the reason we're not winning those games, in your opinion,
bro. He threw an interception against the Bills, fourth quarter. He threw an interception against the Eagles. He threw a bad pass against the freaking Kansas City Chiefs. Come on, bro. In the fourth quarter. All of this is in the fourth quarter. And crucial moments of the game, bro. If your quarterback is out here throwing the ball bad in the fourth quarter and crucial moments, bro, what does that say? You don't say you're doing
the
good.
The man has literally thrown 7 interceptions this year.
Bro, but I understand that. But if you're not getting the job done in the fourth quarter, what does that mean? All that means that's all good and dandy, but you need to get the job done in the fourth quarter to win the game.
That's not just on Tua. Lakers all day.
Who else is on?
What do you mean?
Who else is on? Because he's the quarterback. He throws the ball to the receivers, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Bills game, what he did, interception, right?
Yes.
Eagles, what happened? Crucial moment of the game. What happened? Threw an interception, right?
Yep.
Kansas City Chiefs. What he did, he muffed the snap, and then after that, he freaking threw the ball. He threw a bad ball.
Let me ask you: did Tyreek drop any passes in any of those games? Yes. You better shake your head. Yes, he did. He did. Crucial moments, right? Yeah. One of them that was a guaranteed 6 points. That was on the money. That was in his hands.
I give you that.
Let me just say, I am not sitting here saying that Tua has not made mistakes and that Tua, needs to clean up some things. But nobody's perfect except the 1972 Miami Dolphins. And Jesus, that's it. Those are the only two things in life that are perfect. And number two, he's playing the best a quarterback has played in the last 20 years in a Dolphins uniform. And not only that, he's playing better than 98% of the quarterbacks in the league right now.
Yes, I agree with you, and I love that for
him.
I'm
not going to sit here and say that he is that he's not that he's the problem with this. He's not.
So
without Tua, we would not be 6-3. I guarantee you that.
I understand that, but listen. So look, why are we not getting the job done in crucial moments of the game?
I think it's a mixture of multiple things, right? There's times where McDaniel has straight up abandoned the run. During the beginning point of this season, there's times where the defense, we've looked up and been like, what's going on with the defense? But the fact of the matter is the defense has come out and played, in the two games that we, in that Philly game and the Kansas City game.
They played great.
The offense, when they play against better defenses, there have been moments where plays have been the right play call. They just haven't been executed properly, or drop passes or penalties. So it's a mixture of all those things. In my opinion, we're 6-3 because of our offense. We're also 6-3 because of our offense, right? Like it's a double-edged sword. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And so the Dolphins right now, they are getting better. The goal is that they learn from all these things. So by the time they go into the postseason, okay, we know what we need to do in this position. We know what we don't need to do because we made those mistakes before. We're good now. And that's kind of how I see it. I think that the Dolphins are right where they need to be. And I'm telling you, without Tua, this team is not 6-3.
Yeah, I got you. I understand that. I mean, I'm glad that we're having a good season this year, but I just want to win these big games for us. You know what I'm saying? Because
I
get over the hump.
And I understand the reasoning for it. And I understand the reasoning for it. But understand it's not just any one thing. It's a multitude of little things that turn out on why we can't end up winning these games.
But
that's how I view it.
Yeah, but I view it as, like if our defense, right, in the fourth quarter gets us the ball back in the crucial moments, and then our offense doesn't score in these crucial moments of the game, what's the problem?
All right. So let me ask you a question. All right, let's go to that fourth quarter of the Kansas City thing, and then I'm going to bring in the next person. Okay,
all right, go ahead.
I'm going to ask some questions. Right, the last 4 plays of that Kansas City game were atrocious. Right, there was the miscommunication, but that was the right play call. So we can't get mad at McDaniel for calling the wrong play call. We can either get mad at X player for running the wrong route, which I think was Cedric Wilson, or we can get mad at Tua for letting the ball slip out of his hands. Now, there's conflicting reports. Tua came out and said, it's on me. Don't worry about it. It's 100%. I have to execute better on that play. That's what a leader's supposed to do when y'all lose.
Yeah, that's good.
And I love Tua.
That's great.
Saying that. But I'm also going to say that there are plenty of reporters out there that off the record said that there were players that were like, yeah, somebody ran the wrong route. And that's what happened there.
I mean, somebody did, somebody didn't. It's okay.
It doesn't matter. So what we can say is they didn't execute properly. Something was wrong there. But the play call was the right play call, right? Let's talk about the bad snap. We can say, it hit his fingertips. Any good quarterback's got to be, doing that. But we're also still talking about one of those teams that have the most pre-snap motions in the NFL. So Tua's got to be making sure these guys are in the right places. So this is about executing again, right? Can we get mad for allowing the ball to come off Tua's fingertips? Yeah. Can we also say that was a bad snap? We can say at the least it wasn't a great snap, right?
Yeah.
And so look, it was a mixture of all these things at the wrong time at the end of the game, right? Can we say that we lost that game because Tyreek Hill at the end of the first half fumbled and allowed that guy to score the touchdown? Why didn't Tyreek just go down? Well, one of Tyreek's biggest attributes is that he can extend plays with his feet when he breaks out of something, right? So am I going to get mad at Tyreek because of that fumble there? No, it's just a crappy situation that happened at the worst time. We didn't lose that game because of Tua. We didn't lose that game because of play calls. We didn't lose that game because of Tyreek's fumble. We lost that game because a mixture of all those things happened. And that's just we played a great game, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, because we came back. So we should be happy. But it's like, come on, man.
I don't know about happy, but we definitely came back.
Yeah.
And by the way, that's the defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, we played both of them too.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, let's go. Give me Kansas City all day in the playoffs. I'll take Kansas City in the playoffs. Let's go. I would love Kansas City in the AFC Championship game in the playoffs.
Would you love the Ravens though? If you had to play them,
I don't know. I'll be honest with you. Did they not just lose to Cleveland? And we know how I feel about Cleveland, and I understand what Cleveland's record is. They're the same as ours. But let me tell you, there's a big difference between the 6-3 Cleveland Browns and the 6-3 Miami Dolphins. The 6-3 Miami Dolphins have lost to the Bills, the Bills, the Eagles, and the Chiefs. And 2 or 3 of those teams were in the Super Bowl last year. One of them won it, obviously. Who have the Ravens lost to? And the Browns. So look, I mean, it's all a matter of thing. Yes, there are teams with similar records or the same records as us, but they're not the same team. And that's how I feel about it.
Hey,
all right,
Steven,
Lakers all day.
Steven,
I got
before I go,
I
go, sir. What's up with the Miami Hurricanes, man? What do we have to do, bro? We have to talk about that too.
Trash upon trash upon trash. It was rough watching that game the other night, man. And then Tyler Van Dyke came in and just, I don't understand.
Why won't they just not play Brown? You know what I'm saying? Third string quarterback. It's like I'm saying, their problem is that quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we get a good quarterback for our Miami Hurricanes, I think we'll be good.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if I'm the Miami Hurricanes and I'm Mario Cristobal, I am doing every single thing in my power to go after Archie Manning. Every single thing in my power to go after Archie Manning in Texas, because he's not happy in Texas. They haven't played him. He was the #1 quarterback recruit. He's been sitting there on the bench in Texas. I am doing everything in my power that if he enters the portal to go after Archie Manning, because if the University of Miami gets Archie Manning, I'm telling you right now, they gonna be a contender for the whole thing next year.
You know what, Steven? That's a good idea. You know what? I'm gonna go talk to the Miami Hurricanes people on YouTube and ask them about that, because that was really smart of you, man.
Hey, I have
nobody said that. No, nobody said that. Only you. That's crazy.
I'm telling you right now, nobody is looking at him, and that I would be. I 100%.
Yeah.
All right, let me let you go, brother. Good to hear from you. I miss you, man. Good to see you.
No problem, Steven. Have a good one.
You too, buddy.
I'll be listening.
All right, man. All right, Miami Sports Music's number one Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers. Alex, what's up, Alex? Good morning.
Steven, good morning. How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm all right. Lakers all day. That's my boy, but man, God, I mean,
he's not the only one to feel like that, though. To be fair,
no, I get it. I get it. No, I get it.
I don't agree with the narrative. I don't like it. But look, when you lose,
yeah, I agree.
games, the easy thing to do is point the finger at one of three places, right? The referees, the coach, or the quarterback. You're either going to get one of those three when you lose a game. And there's some truth in all of that stuff. But, I'm not putting it on any one thing of why we lost the Kansas City game. We lost the Kansas City game because of a multitude of things. And we still held them to no points in the second half. We held the offense. We held Patrick Mahomes to 14 points total. That's crazy to me. If I told you the Miami Dolphins would be sitting in first place, one game behind the AFC, and they held Patrick Mahomes to 14 points total, the offense to 14 points, every single person watching this channel right now would raise their hand and say, sign me up. Nobody would say otherwise.
Oh, no question. And not only that, you hold Mahomes to less than 160 yards passing the entire game.
Yep.
You take out Travis Kelce, he was a non-factor in that game. Non-factor.
We should have won that game. To be fair, we should have won. But my thought is, if we're going to lose that game, I'd rather lose it in the regular season now, so that when we face them again in the playoffs, and we will face them again in the playoffs, we're going to be right there, and we're going to make the necessary changes that we need to win. And that's how I feel.
Yeah, I'm totally with you now. Sorry. Now, you got the cleaning people in my house. So, where I sit at, I'm excited. 6-3, sign me up for that all day. Would I like to be 7-2? Of course, I would love to be 7-2. But you know what? 6-3, first place in the AFC East right now. The defense is getting better every single week, right? And you go into the perfect. This is actually the perfect time for the bye. I mean, this is the perfect time for the bye. A-Chain's coming back. Waddle can get rested, having that back issue. Ramsey gets another week to prepare.
Who doesn't think we're not going 5-0 in the next 5 games? That's crazy.
That's a question. Yeah, I want to question you. I want to question you if you don't think we're going to go 5-0 in the next 5 games. But
there's no reason.
Yeah, but you got Vegas against Aiden O'Connell, a rookie quarterback who I mean, he didn't look that bad yesterday. He didn't look that bad.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't
great either.
Yeah, no, he wasn't great either at all. But I mean, look, there's no reason why we should not beat Vegas. No reason whatsoever.
Dave says you will not go 5-0 in the next 5 games.
Okay.
I've been told that 2 years in a row when I've made those predictions. Pretty sure both those years I was right.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you right there. So I also sent you something on Twitter. I don't know if you got a chance to look at it.
I haven't looked on Twitter.
That's a very interesting quote. That's a very interesting thing to look at.
Of the 43 Super Bowl champs, only 9 ever faced a regular season schedule of 500 or better. Those include previously mentioned Steelers and Giants, as well as the 88 49ers, the 80 Raiders, the 91 Redskins, the 96 Packers, the 1990 Colts, and the 2000s, or the 1990 Giants and the 2006 Colts. So of the 43 Super Bowl champions, only 9 have ever faced a regular season schedule of 500 or better. Interesting.
Yeah. The thing is about it is that in that Kansas City game, there were some bad things to look at, but you can also take some positives out of that game. Now this whole narrative with the we need to be winning teams. No, I think that's a load of garbage. That's just a load of garbage that the media just spills out there. Everybody wants to run away with it because negativity sells. Negativity sells. Nobody wants to hear positive things all day, every day. And people want to.
It's tough. It's tough to be positive when you lose against that kind of game where you're like, we should have won. We hands down should have won that game.
Oh, no question, no question. I mean, with the bad snap, should Tua have gotten that clean? Yeah, it was a bad snap, but Tua should have had that. And if he has that, I think, in my opinion, I think he might have gotten sacked. You never know on that because they rushed 6. They send the house. Spagnuolo send the house on against Tua on that play. But also you could also see Waddle is wide open in the slot for a touchdown. So we don't know what would have happened. Now here's the thing. McDaniel, in my opinion, gets a brunt of that blame in that Kansas City game because he went away from the run after the run got us down there to where we need to. Because Mosley had like a 26-yard run on that very same drive. But it is what it is. You can't go back. We got Vegas coming up. I think we're in great shape. I think we're still going to win the division. I still think we're going to make a run. We're going to get a bye.
I'm very confident we win the division.
I think we are going to get the number 1 seed.
We're going to have a good opportunity to get the number 1 seed. We are definitely winning the AFC East. I mean, I'm very confident in saying that and that. So I'm with you there. All right, Alex, I got some other people, man. Go
ahead. Anthony's backstage.
Man. Good to hear from you, brother. Be good.
You too, man. Stay blessed and have a great day. Okay.
All right, buddy. All right, Miami Sports Music's number 1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. We're live on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube here. If you're watching and you want to get on, the link is pinned to the top of the chat on Facebook and YouTube. And then also, if you want to get on as well and you're watching on Twitter right now, I will also put the link in the Twitter chat for you as well. Twitter's evolving. It's getting better. They have a new chat set up on the Twitter side. It's pretty cool. Or X, whatever you want to call it. All right, let me bring on the next guest, my brother from another mother, my usual co-host on Mondays, my man, Lewis. What's up, Lewis? What's going on, buddy?
Good morning, Steven.
Good morning, buddy. How are you?
Man, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am on this conversation, Steven.
Okay.
I think what we're doing is here not placing blame, right? Like trying to make things to be okay. Again, if you would have told me, Steven, we're 6-3, number 1 in the division,
one game out of first for the AFC period.
I would say those are all great things.
100%.
But 2 things can be true. We should be number 1, though. We should have a bigger lead in the division. And that's what's disappointing here. And it just seems, right, because Alex sent you something on Twitter and, all these Super Bowl winners from years past and this and that. Well, I'll give you a stat right here. In games against teams with winning records, Coach McDaniel and this Miami Dolphins is 2-9 in 11 games. Okay. And this narrative that, the next 5 weeks we're going 5-0, that could be, I do believe that as well. I see, again, 2 things can be true, Steven. I agree with you and everybody else that believes that. Problem is these 5 teams that we should be beating to get to 5-0, we're not seeing them in the playoffs, Steven. So none of that matters. What does it matter if you're beating up on all these?
So 2 things. You can only play the opponent that's in front of you. We got to play who we're going to play, right? Can't help that that's our schedule. By the way, what's hilarious about all this, Lewis, is the Dolphins went into the season with the number 2 hardest schedule at the beginning of the season. And now all of a sudden we have the second most difficult schedule at the beginning of the season, but now we're playing these scrub teams. Like, the NFL is so unpredictable, which I find hilarious because that is obviously wrong. Because now people are saying, well, the Dolphins haven't played anybody of value, and when they haven't beat them. So I get it. I understand that. Look, the Dolphins sitting at 6-3, and then hopefully winning the next 5, which I believe that we will. We'll be sitting at 11-3, right? Going into the last 2 weeks of the season. And in the last 2 weeks of the season, you have the Baltimore Ravens and you have the Buffalo Bills. And those are going to be very important games. And if you find a way, Lewis, to win both of those games and finish the season at 13 or at I guess it would be 14-3, right? Or it would be 13-3. 13-3. Wait, there's 17. Am I wrong about that? 15.
Yeah, the last 3 games are Baltimore,
12,
Dallas,
15,
and then Buffalo.
14. What is it?
You forgot Dallas in there. They got Baltimore,
Okay.
Dallas, and then the Bills.
Okay. So they win the next 5. The next 5, by the way, are the Raiders, the Jets, the Commanders, the Titans, the Jets.
Jets.
Yes. Yep. And then the last 3 are the Cowboys, Ravens, and Dolphins.
Yes.
Right? So you win the next 5, which I think that we will. Mm-hmm. And then you beat Dallas on Christmas Eve, which we have a good shot at doing. And now all of a sudden we're sitting at 12-3 with 2 games left. And by the way, we'll have made the playoffs at that point. The question is going to be, are we going to be division champions? Are we going to be 1 seed? Are we going to be 2 seed? Are we going to be the 3 seed? And at that point, I got to think that the only team that's going to be in like the big. Let me ask you, Lewis, if we end up beating the Ravens on December the 3rd or on December 31st on New Year's Eve, by the way, Baltimore beat down. If you need tickets for that, go to tailgreeter.com. Go get your tickets for the Baltimore beatdown because it's going to be live. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys do that. Baltimore beatdown. I think it's going to be. What are you going to say, Lewis, at that point? Dolphins then undefeated since the loss to Kansas City. They beat the best team in the AFC, and like we're going to be sitting pretty, right? You can't be mad at that, Lewis.
But Stephen, again, I'm not mad now. I'm with everybody. I don't think that this is a bad team. I just, the question for me is why in the biggest moments? I'm tired of these big game narratives because I said it 2 weeks ago, Stephen. I think every game in the NFL is a big game because this is not Major League Baseball where you have 162. This is not the NBA where you have 82. You have an 18-week season. You play 17 games, right? So every game is important, but we all know the bigger moments. Why does it seem that Miami always has their worst outputs? The things always seem to go wrong in those big moments. And I'm not putting this on one player. See, I heard Lakers all day. He was up here saying it was just a Tua thing. It's just, it's like a combination of things. I don't know if Coach McDaniel overthinks things. It just seems, again, look, Kansas City, for example. Yeah, when you look at it from the whole game, yeah, Miami had a chance to win. There was plays that they could have made. But for the most part, Stephen, the game was lost at 21-0. You can't go down to a team like that 21-0. So this narrative like, oh, Miami played a good game. No, they didn't. They did not.
They played a good half. They played a good second. They played a good second half, and even then, it wasn't it wasn't perfect. It wasn't mistake free. We still made mistakes. We ended up losing because of some of those mistakes.
And why do you think those? My question to you is, Stephen, why in the biggest moments against Kansas City, against the Eagles, against Buffalo, right? When maybe things are not going your way. Let
me just interrupt real quick. I want to argue this fact with you. I'll argue this point. I don't want to say argue this fact. I want to argue the point that you can't go down 21-0 to a team like Kansas City. We did go down 21-0 to a team like Kansas City, and we're there in the last 4 plays of the game to tie it up. So I just want to say, is it do you want to go down 21-0? No. Let me tell you, at 21-0, my heart was in my stomach. It felt like shit. Like I hated it. I was sick to my stomach. I was like, are you kidding me? Are we really not showing up? And then for them to go score 2 touchdowns, right? Go down the field the way that they did and then be in it in that fourth quarter. It was this is the team that can win a Super Bowl. And not just, by the way, be in the playoffs, win a Super Bowl. This is the team that, and they even said it on the broadcast. They were like, yeah, guys weren't upset. Like they were like, we know we're going to come back and make this a game. So the team believes in itself, and the team believes that they can do this and make it to that next step. Have they done it yet? No. So I understand what some of you saying. The difference between you saying that, Stephen, is they would have done that. They haven't done it yet, and that's where we're at right now. That's a fair argument. I'd give that to you. But, Lewis, at the end of the day, and I'll say it again, and I'll keep on repeating it, the Dolphins are 6-3. They're first place in the AFC East. They're tied for second, and they're one game out of first place in the AFC, period. And they have two players potentially that are MVP candidates in Tua and Tyreek. What more do you want? And by the way, the defense, that learning curve, it's been looking pretty good. That defense has shown up. So I think we're exactly where we want to be right now. Have we won the games we wanted to win? No. But we're in a damn good spot. And as far as I'm concerned, we're a top 5 team in all of the NFL. And once we get over that hump and beat one of those really good teams with that, Lewis, I'm telling you right now, I don't want these people coming on board talking about, I believe the Dolphins all along. No, not everybody believed all along. You hoped, but you didn't believe. And I'm here to give you your hopium. But I'm telling you right now, I believe that the Dolphins are going to be in the Super Bowl this year. I believe it.
Okay, and that's fine. Listen, I believe that too. I'm with you. Everything you said, yeah, I'm with you. But that you still didn't answer my question.
Okay.
Why in the biggest moment, again, in the first half, could you agree, Stephen, watching the game in Kansas City, that it just felt like McDaniel, he was horrible in that first half. Play calling, things of that nature. It was bad. Philadelphia, we can argue the same thing. He was bad.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think that is, Stephen? There has to be a reason that you look so great against teams like Denver. You look great against teams like New England. But why in those moments, Stephen, does it seem like the coaching either starts off slow? What is it? Are the lights too bright for
let me say your question is very valid and understandable. Why an understanding of your question. I don't know if I have an answer for you on that, Lewis. I probably have excuses for you. I don't know if I have a true answer for you. I think I go back and look at previous Super Bowl champions, Lewis, and I say to myself, what makes those teams different? What makes those teams stand out? And I think it's a few things that you'll see on most Super Bowl champions. Not all of them, but 90% of Super Bowl champions, you'll see stars, great players, Hall of Fame players. You'll see coaching that has the respect and command of the people in the locker room. You'll see people working as a family. You won't see a lot of off the field distractions, and all of those things. Miami's had their fair share of off the field distractions, without a doubt, right? We have had our fair share of mediocre talent at best on some football teams in the past 20 plus years. But right now we do have a Hall of Famer on this team in Tyreek Hill, right? He's a future Hall of Famer. Let's call a spade a spade. We got some young, amazing talent in Tua, Devon Achane, Javon Holland, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, even Christian Wilkins. A lot of young, really good talent. And as far as a collection of talent, it's probably the best we've had on a team since the early 2000s, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Cater Kahoo being another one. You're right, a new breed. And I say to myself, what can separate this team to make them elite, to make them, and by the way, Jalen Waddle too. I understand I missed some names, y'all. I get it. I understand. But that's good. I'm still calling people, and you're still in the chat talking about, don't forget this person, don't forget that person. That's how good and that's how much talent this team has. So this team, looking at it on paper and looking at it for what it is, has everything it needs to win a Super Bowl. Now, part of the reason you win Super Bowls is you have to get there. There's steps to this. There's levels to this, right, Lewis? And so it's not like New England woke up one day and just said, we're going to be elite for the next 20 years. No, they had to develop into that. They had to get there, right? That team with Drew Bledsoe before they got Brady there. That was still a good football team. They had no idea how good Brady was going to be that year, and they ended up winning a Super Bowl with him, right? But that team was destined to do some big things with Bledsoe. So it's not like they woke up one day and that team, you got to look at dynasties and you have to look at Super Bowl championship teams and see it for what it is, that it is a process. And we're in year 2 of that process with this group. Now, do I think we can win a Super Bowl this year? Hell yeah, I do. We have everything we need to do to win it. Now it's a matter of it coming together and things. And look, the other thing to it is, and you call it what you want, you do have to have a little bit of luck on your side too. And we just need all that to fall into place for us. And I think that it will come playoff time in the latter part of the season and playoff time. But we have to do it. And that is an argument that I can understand. The difference is, Stephen, they would have done it then, and they haven't done it yet. And I get that. So I don't know if that answers your question, Lewis, but that's the answer I got for you.
Man, listen, I'm trying to stay positive, Steven. But when I look at teams of recent success, right, and even your analogy of the New England Patriots, I get it. But before they won their first Super Bowl, it's not like they were a juggernaut. They weren't no playoff team.
But they weren't. They weren't.
That switch came on. Oh, okay, but when that switch hit, that one year when Brady came in for Bledsoe, they took off running.
They did.
Right?
They did.
Look at Cincinnati. Cincinnati wasn't no juggernaut. They decided to, show up one year, I think it was 2021, and they just went to the Super Bowl.
Well, to be fair, Lewis, there are exceptions to any rule. I'm saying most teams, right? Go back and look at the greatest show on turf. Trent Green, I think, was the quarterback for that team, if I'm correct, right? And he goes down, and Kurt Warner Kurt Warner had to come in, right? And they ended up exploding. So, but that team was still expected to be a good football team that year. And they were over the next couple of years. They only ended up winning 1 Super Bowl, but if I'm correct, they went to 2. So I don't know if they went to 2. But that greatest show on turf team, that for the next couple of years, they were still a good football team. Von Joe said, "Yo, Lewis, Stephen D just gave us a 5-minute monologue, not answering your question, and just saying a whole."
I'm trying, BJ. I'm trying, bro. Listen, I'm trying to stay positive, but Stephen is avoiding the question.
Not avoiding the question. I'm answering it in the best way I know how. And look, the next 5 weeks, if we go 5-0, people are still going to be like, we still got to win the next 3 weeks, and that's fair. I get that. But enjoy the next 5 weeks, people. Enjoy it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun the next 5 weeks. The Raiders, the Jets twice, the Commanders, and the Titans on Monday Night Football. Who's not going to have a good time with those games?
Okay, Stephen. So right there, maybe I can pin you down here then, because you're saying the next 5 weeks are going to be fun. So in your opinion, okay, we should be 5-0. What happens if you come out of this 5-3-2? Then what? What does your opinion change then?
Yeah,
Stephen?
Yeah, it does. 100% it does.
Okay, and why is that?
Because we should win the next 5 weeks. And if we're and in my opinion, if we're going to be Super Bowl champions, we need to definitely beat the teams we need to beat. And the next 5 weeks, we need to beat these next 5 games. We need to win these next 5 games. Now here's the thing. If we go 4-1, am I going to be upset? No. Because my guess will be somebody found a way, we slept on it or had a sleeper team or what, but I still think we're going to win the next 5 weeks. We're going to be favorited the next 5 weeks. We'll be favorited this weekend. We'll be favorited on Black Friday. We're definitely going to be the favorites against the Commanders. We're going to be the favorites against the Titans, and we're going to be favored against the Jets at home on Monday night or at home. So, the next 5 weeks will be favorites according to Vegas. Like, there's no reason. If we're not favorites the next 5 games, something is totally wrong.
Yeah, Stephen, but we can't have it. We can't have it both ways now, right?
Yeah.
Because Alex Renee Diaz just came up here and threw a stat he gave you on Twitter. You read it out loud. That those teams, those Super Bowl winning teams that were still finishing with the 12 wins, 13 wins, they were beating up on the lesser teams, right? So if that's going to be the case for Miami, we should be 5-0 then.
I agree. And by the way, that's what I said. You asked the question, what happens when we don't? And so I was playing along with your scenario. I 100% predict we're going to be 5-0. Unequivocally, without a doubt. I have no doubt.
So then
the next 5 games.
So then if we're not 5-0, are we frauds then? If we go 4-1 or 3-2, are we?
If we go 3-2, I could say maybe that's a scenario. If we go 4-1, no, because any given Sunday, any team can beat anybody and anything can happen. But we go 3-2, yeah, we'll have to have a conversation. There'll be a conversation. But we're going to go 5-0. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Well, all right, Lewis. Anything else before I let you go?
No. I'm out of here.
I miss you.
I miss you too, Steven. Glad to have you back, man. Yeah, everything was good you just took a week break. Everything was good.
I needed some time, man. We'll definitely talk. Me and you wrap off air, but I definitely needed some time. So, but I'm good now.
Well, hit me up. You already know.
Love you, brother. Be good.
And love you too, bro. Later.
All right, man. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. I got a whole bunch of people in the back. Just be patient. I want to bring everybody up and give everybody an opportunity to talk. So thank you for your patience and thank you for coming on. It's going to be good. Let me bring on the next guest, my man, Mr. Negative. What's up, Mr. Negative?
Good, Steven. How are you doing?
Pretty good, man. I was waiting to talk to you, buddy.
Well, I'm glad I could, make your wishes come true.
I know. Well, that's what you do.
I'm pretty much, I'm off Twitter, making comments. I haven't posted on Twitter in like 8 days or something. I go into the spaces the odd time, but no more posting. It's pointless to post on the news feed about the Dolphins. The fighting just begins, no matter which side you're on. So to me, it's just a waste of time. I won't be doing it. So, but no. I'm glad to be on here. This is where I'm pretty much going to be voicing my opinions one way or the other, positive or negative, about the Dolphins on YouTube. So you want to know about the state of the Dolphins? Well, I don't think that's played out yet because we haven't hit December football. This team has a history of falling apart in December. I can go all the way back to 1993. When they were 9-2, finished up 9-7 out of the playoffs, lost their last 5 games. So until they destroy this long standing narrative of, not only being able not to beat good teams, but just finishing what you've begun, I'm still skeptical. I think I have that right to be skeptical. I've seen a lot of football in my day, and usually the results are the same. I want this team to overcome what they mentally can't overcome. And whether that's like a franchise thing, I don't know, maybe the coaches have them watching old Dolphin games and say, okay, don't do this. But, like going back to that Kansas City game, right? That game was ripe for the taking. Kansas City did not play well that day. In fact, they played very bad. I'll say that. They played very bad for a Kansas City team that's a Super Bowl defending champion. Miami had their opportunities in front of them, and they, as a team, threw up on themselves. The team threw up on themselves. Offense, defense, special teams, unit, coaching staff, especially the coaching staff. And this is what McDaniel does. But again, going back to beating these really good teams, Miami just has that mentality that they get down big, 21-0, right? That's fine. They came back. But now you have to play a perfect game from when you were down 21-0, and they didn't have that luxury, right? So you can't make those mistakes at the end of the game, right? Because you're so close. Now you have to be perfect. Well, Miami is not that type of team against these really good teams to play perfect. You have the crowd noise going against you. If they had to go to Kansas City wipes us out, and here's why. Because we can't operate our offense in loud stadiums. We've seen it in Buffalo. We've seen it in Philadelphia. The cadence.
But what happened in Baltimore when we were down 28 points?
Okay, so once in a while, you're going to get a game where the team has some broken coverages where you come back. Do it consistently, though, Steven. Here's the thing: we get wiped out in Buffalo. I go to that stadium. I know the crowd noise. I see the confusion on the Dolphins. Right? We're running the football last year in that same game in Buffalo, and then McDaniel stupidly gets away from it. So that's the problem. When something's working, we get away from it because we try and get cute, we try and get fancy, razzle dazzle, excite the fans, all this and that. We just don't line up and punch teams in the mouth. We're soft. We're not physical. Look at the 3 teams that have beaten us, all physical. And that's a big thing because Miami is too finesse. They don't have those dogs to punch you in the mouth.
Disagree with that, Mr. Negative. We were down.
Why are we beating these teams?
We did not let that team score an offensive touchdown after their second one. We held the defending Super Bowl champion offense to 14 points. The NFL MVP to
Steven,
under 200 yards.
What did their defense do to us in that game? They punched us in the mouth. They hit us at the line. They jammed the receivers, and they were physical. That defensive line of Kansas City whooped our behind.
They should, because their defensive line is 10 times better than our.
I don't care, Steven, because our offensive line is not nasty. They're not nasty. They are finesse.
So do you think that they need to be nasty in order for us to win a Super Bowl? I disagree.
Yes, I do, because the teams in the playoffs that you're going to face are physical. They'll punch you in the mouth. Why does the Bills always beat us? Because they punch us in the mouth. We're not physical. We wilt. The game was 14-all, and then Buffalo adjusted. They started jamming our receivers. They started throwing off the timing. We didn't have any answers, and then they started to get even more physical. Philadelphia, same thing. They punched us in the mouth. This is nothing new. I've been watching Dolphin football for 40 years. We don't have a nasty team. We never have. We don't have those hitters. We're not the Oakland Raiders of the 70s. We're not the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. We don't have that physical presence. I want them to get it.
Now you're talking about the offensive side of the ball, not the defense.
And that's important, Steven. We are an offensive. Our identity is offense. It's putting up a lot of points. It's airing it out. That's what our identity is. We're not a.
But they're offensive linemen. Define. So I like what Color's asking in the chat. Define nasty. Define nasty for offensive linemen.
Like guys like Richie Incognito. There's nasty. Okay,
Richie was like one of a kind. There was very few Richie Incognitos in the NFL.
Steven, okay, go back to the Hogs of the 80s for the Washington Redskins. That's nasty. That's
totally
nasty.
Style football.
Go look at the Baltimore Ravens offensive line. That's nasty. They punch you in the mouth.
Now they are.
They punch you in the mouth, Steven. They've been doing it for 20 years.
They have an NFL MVP, former NFL MVP, and Lamar Jackson, who can run the ball all day with
I don't care.
all day. And by the way, even in the game that we won, he ran the ball down our throat in that game.
Steven, and also the running backs run the ball down teams' throats. That's what they do. That's their identity. It's okay to say we're a finesse team, but it's going to be a problem when they hit the playoffs.
I don't have a problem with saying that we're a finesse team. My argument with you a little bit, Mr. Negative, is I believe that we are a very cutthroat team. Now, our offensive line can only be cutthroat so much when you have second and third stringers playing. Like, those are facts. And by the way, even with those facts, Tua is still the least hit quarterback in the NFL, even with second and third stringers playing, which is crazy to me. So
I'm not talking about how the offensive line blocks or whatnot. I'm talking about imposing your will against these top tier teams. And again, we're not doing it.
By the way, we're not talking about an average NFL defense. You're talking about the elite defenses, right?
What is our offense, Steven? What's our offense? What is our offense?
It's elite.
Okay, so why can't we beat an elite defense if we have an elite offense?
Why haven't we yet is the question.
Okay.
Those defense look, this sounds like an excuse, but this is the only answer that I can give you. Those defenses have played together a hell of a lot more and longer and been together longer than our offense has. Our offense is in its second year. You know, and NFL's is I mean, that's the way I look at it. All those teams that you just named, Philly, Kansas City, and Buffalo, those defenses have been playing together for like the last 3 or 4 years together. Miami's only in its second year on offense.
But Mike McDaniel's the genius. He's the new Shula 2.0. I mean, come on now. I'm sorry.
And by the way, Mr. Negative, they have one of the top. They have like the number one scoring offense in the NFL. So what else do you want from them?
Yeah, again, Steve. But look at the discrepancy between the 6-0 and the 0-3. Right? They score like over 30 points a game versus these bad teams. Against those 3 teams, 17 points, Steven. It's massive. That's a huge drop off.
It is.
Great teams do not have that kind of production drop off. They don't. And this narrative will continue until they change it.
All right. So
right or wrong.
So in your mind, all right. So let me ask you a couple questions. Number one, do we win the next 5 games?
I think we go 4-1. I think we're going to lose at the Jets because that defense is nasty, and it's basically our kryptonite because it's that.
Mr. Negative, did you watch them last night? I know you did. A little bit of it.
Okay, Steven, here's the thing. See, people want to group the whole entire. Yes, they're buying to win because that offense is trash, but that defense, that Jet defense is championship level, whether we want to admit it or not. Okay, and they play a style that is our kryptonite.
No.
They play a style that is our kryptonite, that San Francisco style defense where Robert Saleh came from, right? That's his defense. And like it or not, that defense can be trouble. Okay, I'm not saying Miami's going to lose these games, but I'm saying I could see it's a short week. It's traveling. It's going to a hostile environment on the road.
Hey, hold up, Mr. Negative. I've been to the Jets game, every Jets MetLife takeover for the last 4 years. There is nothing hostile about that environment. Those fans are like, that is not a hostile environment.
It's hard to win. It is hard to, Steven. They couldn't beat a Chiefs team.
Fans are trash. Their most famous fan quit on them for 3 years. There is nothing hostile about that.
He probably was so frustrated. I mean, he was tired of all the nonsense. So I don't blame him. I don't blame him either. See, but again, here's my thing, right? We were playing Kansas City on a neutral field, and we still couldn't outplay them when they played a bad game. It's a road game. They're all tough. I don't care what stadium you're in. I could see them even losing at Washington. It's still a road game, Steven. This is my point, is that Miami has proven when they go on the road, they are a different team than they are at home. That's fact. Go look at the games. So to say they're going to go 5-0, they may go 5-0, but these are the games I care about is against the top teams because that's who you're facing in the playoffs. I'm not okay with them making the playoffs and then getting beaten in round 1. Who cares? It's not the ultimate goal. I want a Super Bowl. That's it. That's my bar.
You know what? I am okay with that being the bar. I am telling you. I need you to put this in perspective, though, too.
Okay.
The Dolphins are 6-3. They're 1 game out of first. They lead the league in almost every offensive statistical category. If they don't, they're top 3 in it. Easy. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they've held the last 2 Super Bowl, the 2 teams that played in the Super Bowl, they held those offenses for the most part when they needed to hold them. So I don't, and especially
most teams dominated our offense. So what does it matter?
I'm just telling you, in my opinion, I am okay with where the Dolphins are at. Am I in love with it? No, I would have wanted to win at least one of them.
And I respect that, Steven. You're okay with where they're at, and I respect that. I am okay
with thoughts on. Let me state this, Mr. Negative. I am okay with the progression of how this team is going. Do they need to tidy things up on offense? Of course they do. Hell yeah, they do. When it comes to playing elite defenses, if they're playing good defenses or below, they're running them over. If they're playing elite defenses, which with the exception of Baltimore, they and Buffalo, they play no other elite defenses this year.
Dallas is an elite defense. No, you want to face Micah Parsons? Okay,
it's not an elite. It's not an elite defense. It's a really
good defense. Oh, okay. They do exactly what Miami is struggles with, and that is bumping your receivers at the line.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Jets.
Okay,
hey, how elite can their defense be when they traded for Noah Igbenogany, Mr. Negative? Okay, they are not elite.
Come on, Steven, you realize that was just a salary cap move for both teams. Both players they got. Come on, let's not do that, Steven. Let's not. Who's the guy Miami got? I haven't even seen him on the field
because he doesn't need to play.
Yeah, because he's not any good.
To play because
he's not any good, Steven, because he's not any good. Come on, not any good. Dallas wouldn't give him up if
they're
he was
not elite. They're really good. They're not.
That was a salary. Come on, let's be honest. Here was a salary cap move for both teams. That's all that was.
They traded for Noah. I don't care what anyone.
You want to dismiss that Cowboy.
Got a bag of balls for Noah Igbenogany. He makes him a genius. Okay?
Do you want to dismiss that Dallas defense? I think Micah Parsons will have a little something to say.
I didn't say they were scrubs. I didn't say they were mediocre. I said they're really good, but they're not elite.
Okay.
Kansas City has an elite defense. Philadelphia has an elite defense. Buffalo has an elite defense.
And what is the common denominator between all three? And you want to know why Dallas is along the lines of those same teams is that they are physical on defense. They get after you, they attack, they punch you in the mouth. And we will see, just like Baltimore, those two games are going to be very tough for the Dolphins because they are the type of defenses that will take a finesse offense, which is what Miami is, and they will dominate you at the line of scrimmage. That's what happens. So hopefully Miami's razzle-dazzle and all their, misdirection and their motion and all this and that will work. But again, that's how they dominate.
All right, Mr. Negative. I missed you, buddy. You need to come on more often with me.
Okay, I will come on more often, Steven.
You're the man, brother. I love you, man.
Right.
Be good, okay?
Yeah. Take care, Steven.
You too, buddy. Bye-bye. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Let me bring on this person because I knew it. I knew he was going to come on. The link is pinned to the top of the page if you want to get up here. I got 4 people waiting right now in the back. I'm going to bring all 4 of you on. I appreciate y'all's patience. Let me bring this next guest on. Following Mr. Negative, Pete's Takes. Hello, Pete.
Good morning, Steven.
My numbers are going to seriously decline. People are turning off the channel as we speak.
There's no timeouts today. They got to hear this therapy. Shout out to Mr. Negative. Love everything he was saying. I agree with most of it. But Steven, you know what? You should start charging people. You should start charging people with the way you be cooking up here, dude. You just be cooking these people. But I do have a disagreement with you, Steven. So let me tell you something. Do not talk to me about the next 5 games at all. I'm letting you know right now. I'm talking about the Raiders only. I know what we saw last night was Sunday night, but this is a rejuvenated forget what the whole record says. This is a 2-0 team that we're playing, and a 2-0 team with a new coach, with more fire, and they're gelling. They're just gonna gel. And let me tell you something. Yeah, their offense might have not looked elite last night versus the Jets, because I do agree with Mr. Negative. They went against a championship caliber defense. That's not the same here. That is not the same. Now, what we saw versus the Chiefs 2 weeks ago now, in the second half, that was a good defense that we showcased on our end. But at the same time, Steven, I'm telling you right now, the Raiders are going to come in and they're going to shock the world. I got a feeling we're going to outright lose to them based on the way I saw them playing yesterday. And we're coming off a bye week, Steven. You know how rusty Tua comes out off a bye week. This is not good. Tua is a momentum quarterback. You know that. That's your quarterback, Steven. What else am I going to say? The bye week knocked the rhythm out. It knocked it out. And the Raiders are coming in hot. They played a late Sunday night game, Steven. And I got to admit, I'm worried, bro. I don't care what Vegas bet line or whatever the spread may be. They're predicting that as a Raiders team all season. They're not. I'm done, bro. You can knock me out of this because I'm telling you I could keep going. But But Steven, there's so many things to worry about this Sunday, dude.
Pete, couple things. Number one, welcome. Super excited that you're here. Number two, the NFL does have a good track history that when in the middle of the season, when coaches get fired and they bring in interns in the middle, not towards the end of the season, in the middle, there's a good track record of those teams and how they play. I will admit that to you. But the Raiders are still the Raiders. And they barely beat the trash Jets last night.
No, Steven, you're not. Steven, let me explain. The Raiders are a very talented team that was being held back by Josh McDaniels. He was a horrible coach, bro. And now they're showing and displaying their talents with a rookie quarterback, bro. This team is for real. They know. You think Antonio Pierce is going to go in there and sit back and play zone? Or he's going to do what Mr. Negative is saying? The Raiders don't have a chance to lose another game. The Raiders are playing playoff football, and they're playing for their new head coach because we all know how the NFL is. Interim head coaches don't usually keep their jobs unless they do special things. And this is a special moment for the Raiders to come on the road and beat the Miami Dolphins at their home stadium, dude. And they're going to do it. I feel it. I feel like the Raiders are going to win. I know what I'm talking about. I know my team, bro. The fan base is too excited. They're happy. They're clowning on the Jets losing. They're hoping on the Bills to lose tonight. I get it. We need all the help we can. Why? Because of games like this, Steven. I know what I'm telling you. The Raiders are back and the Dolphins are sinking.
The Raiders are not back. That's one of the worst takes that you've had ever. The Raiders are in no way, shape, or form back. Because where are they coming back from? Because they were nowhere to begin with. Let's just throw that out there, okay? Look, I get that you think that there's a sleeper game probably somewhere in the next 5 games, right? And there might be, right? But you can only play the opponent in front of you. And the Dolphins, for the most part, they've come out to play the opponent in front of them. And that includes the Kansas City game and the Philadelphia game. Yes, we went down 21-0. Yes, we came back and made that a game, and we did what we needed to do. By the way, we held that offense to 14 points and Patrick Mahomes under 200 yards. So holding the Super Bowl MVP to under 200 yards and that offense to 14 points, that's, I mean, even for 4 quarters, that's great. So that defense showed up, in my opinion, the whole game, in my opinion. The Dolphins are I told you all 4 weeks ago, let this defense get the curve that it needs to do. Understand that when we face these elite defenses that we're not going to be putting up 40, 50 points a games, but we're going to be in those games. I would have wanted to beat Philly or Kansas City and win one of those 2 games. Kansas City was the one that we probably had the best option of doing, but they're the defending Super Bowl champions for a reason. They're really good, right? And so the Dolphins need to win these next 5 weeks. And in my opinion,
I'm sorry to tell you, the Chiefs are not that good.
Yes, they are. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry they showed flaws last week against us. And you know there was 2. It doesn't matter. They have flaws on that defense.
They're the number one team in the AFC, but they're not that good.
They're not that good you know what? Skylar Thompson beats the Chiefs if he was the starter. I'm telling you right now. This is the issue with a lot of the fans. I heard in this last week and a half debacle. Oh, McDaniel, this. Like, I think I heard Lewis complaining we should run more. I don't want to hear any of that. When McDaniel is out here and he's calling plays and the plays are there to make, I'm sorry, buddy. The one that lost this previous Chiefs game, and I didn't want to talk about it, is Tua, dude. He even took the blame. And it's clear it's all right to take a loss. But at the same time, those can't keep piling up. So if we lose to the Raiders, it's time to start thinking something. And you know what I'm thinking. But at the same time, I'm hoping I'm wrong somehow, some way. But Steven, no, bro. No. The Chiefs exposed themselves on defense. McDaniel sat there and diced them up like a beautiful pineapple. And he served it up on the plate. But guess what? The server tripped and fell and didn't get to the table with his plate because the quarterback didn't deliver. Bro, there was 3 touchdowns after reviewing that film that Tua left on the field. That's 21 points right there. That's victory. I'm telling you, Steven, it was a bad showcase by our quarterback last Sunday versus the Chiefs that we shouldn't even, as a fan base, we should keep that game a secret. We shouldn't talk about it. We shouldn't bring it up. We shouldn't discuss it. We should hide it. Because you know what Mr. Negative said a little while ago, that the Jets are Super Bowl caliber defense? Let me tell you something, buddy. Our defense, fully healthy right now, that's a Super Bowl caliber defense, Steven. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I know you're on this one with me. And you know our defense is almost elite and is getting there in their jelly. So therefore, if we lose to the Raiders, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. There's no taking me out from this anymore. I dare little Tua to lose that bag on Sunday versus the Raiders. Yeah. Because if Tua loses to the Raiders, buddy, I'm telling you right now, bench talks are coming. He won't get paid, and I hope Tua's listening. How about that? If you lose to the Raiders, your contract goes in the shredder, Tua. And I'm telling you, the little stunts that they pull, the Max Crosby, that guy's a different animal. That's all I'm going to say, Steven. I took enough time. I'm already getting a little hot right now, knowing that I feel this way about my team, that we can't even beat a Raiders team right now.
Pete, I love you. Your takes are horrible, but I love you.
I love you too, Steven. Fins up no matter what I say. The negativity is just stored in my heart today. Have a good one, Steven. Catch you next time.
That man. That man. I don't know what to say about that man. Let me bring on one of my best friends. My best friend, actually, Ryan. Ryan, was it as bad as you thought it was going to be with Pete?
Oh, what?
Did you wake up? Yeah.
Pete who?
Pete who?
What?
You were sleeping, weren't you?
I wasn't sleeping. I'm in recovery.
Oh. For what?
I had a surgery this morning.
Oh, that's right. Clip, snip, snip.
Yup.
How are you holding up, buddy? No more kids for you, man.
No more.
Fellas, if y'all know if you've been through what Ryan's going through, just give him a big shout out in the chat. He's I feel for you, man. I feel for you.
I just feel like a little person has been just flicking me in the ball bag nonstop for the past 3 hours. just flicking.
Outside C says, congrats on the transitioning. Chris says, show us the surgery. We want to see the incision.
I haven't even looked at it, so
you don't want to, dude. Trust me, you don't want to.
No, I don't want to see that.
No. All right. Are you being catered to? Is Nikki at home like catering to your every need right now? Because
No, man, I'm home alone.
Oh, she's working?
Yeah.
Well, I would feel some type of way. Nikki, how dare you work on this day that Ryan is in pain? And I'm just saying, okay? For CB83 says, put some frozen veggies on the sack, bro.
They're there. They're there.
Okay. All right. You've been listening. What's going on? What's your take on everything?
I don't know, man. This team is an enigma to me. Like we start out. This team starts out looking unstoppable, and then lays a stinker against Buffalo, and then looks unstoppable again, and then lays an even worse stinker against Philly, offensively speaking. Maybe not the grand scheme of it. Like the defense seems to finally be catching up to where the offense sometimes is, but this offense is so inconsistent. And it's not even that they're inconsistent just in the games against the quote unquote winning teams or whatever. I mean, they're falling behind. I mean, they let Carolina go up 14-0 in the first quarter. Like they're letting some of these teams think they have a game coming in, from the get go.
We were down 14-0 at Carolina, weren't we? We were down 14.
Yeah, yeah. And now everybody keeps coming up, and you're not innocent of this either. Y'all keep coming up, trying to compare this team to the '99 Rams team.
Yeah, I have.
Go back and look at their schedule, and more importantly, go back and look at the stats and the scoreboard for each of their games. You'll see that even in those 3 losses against the winning teams they had, they didn't just score 1 or 2 touchdowns in those games. They were still putting up 20, 30 plus points. Their offense came to play every week, even in the games that they were losing to good teams.
Ryan, are you agreeing with Pete? I don't know if I can deal with you right now.
Look, I'm saying don't.
Are you sure they didn't do they didn't do some other surgery to other parts of your body?
I'm just saying stop the comparisons to the '99 Rams. Their offense came to play every single week, no matter the opponent.
I'm disappointed.
This offense does not do that. Show me one game in the '99 Rams where they scored 7 offensive points. It didn't happen, or 10 offensive points. It didn't happen. It didn't happen. The lowest scoring output they had the whole season was 21. They did that twice, I think, if I remember correctly. One of them was a win, and another one was a loss. But they had 2 other games that they lost. They lost 3. They scored 27 in one and 30, I think 31 in the other. 31 or 33 in the other loss, something like that. Miami's not putting up 30 points in a loss. Miami's not putting up 27.
AB says 99 champ Rams, greatest show on turf, scored 11 points in the NFC Championship game and 20.
I wasn't looking at the postseason. I was looking at the regular season.
What's this guy talking about, bro?
Because we're not looking at the postseason because we're not there yet. We're looking at the regular season. Everybody's comparing this team to the regular season, the Rams, and it's not the same team.
I'm not mad.
It's not the same team.
That you are agreeing with them.
And Mr. Negative said something, that is accurate as well. Go 5-0 against these next 5 games if you want. Doesn't really matter because none of these 5 games are against teams we're going to see in the postseason. You want to know the games that we're probably going to see in the postseason? The Chiefs, potentially the Bills. I mean, there's every possibility that the Jets make a postseason run, no matter how bad
they're not making the postseason. Stop it with that narrative.
No matter how bad their offense is, that defense is good enough that they could conceivably make a 7 seed, make a run for the 7 seed, especially if the Aaron Rodgers nonsense actually ends up being true and he comes back.
Well, apparently he's trying to come back in December, which would
yeah. And then we got Baltimore. That's another team that we could see in the postseason. Those are the games that we need. That's the gauge. If you can't beat Baltimore, Buffalo, Kansas City in the regular season, what makes you think you can beat them in the postseason? And the postseason is the season that matters.
I'm very it's not that I don't want to argue with you. I can't believe that this is how you're viewing, because you've never said this in any of the conversations we've had this week.
Because this is,
did you wake up and just have this epiphany that the Dolphins?
They have to put something on the field to disprove this argument. They have to, and they have not done it yet. Who was it that was it Lewis that mentioned 2-9 and 11 games against winning teams in Mike McDaniel's
games against winning teams, which
that don't cut it.
That doesn't. I'll agree with you on
and those 2 wins were against Buffalo last year at home, where that was mismanagement on Buffalo's offense part on bad clock management at the end. That, not saying they would have gone down and scored, but they were almost in field goal range when they screwed up and ran out of clock. So that game had every bit of a chance of being a loss had it not been for Buffalo's own offensive mismanagement. And then the other game was the Baltimore game, which is one of the most historic comebacks in history. But let's not forget what it took to get that win. It took and never before done 4 fourth quarter touchdowns and Tua throwing 6 total touchdowns to get that win. Those games don't happen. That Baltimore game last year was an anomaly. It was a great anomaly, but it was an anomaly. Everybody's still riding high on the 70 points against Denver this year. Just
so
based off the fact that it's the second time that happened in NFL history shows that that's an anomaly, and that's not what is to be expected out of this offense weekly.
The Miami Dolphins are 6-3, 1 game out of first in the entire AFC. We lead the league in almost every offensive statistical category, but we're just an okay football team.
If you subtract the anomaly
don't add
that
up,
is the Denver game, but look, you can't ever. They're not going to score 70 points again, ever. There's a chance this franchise will never score 70 points again in the entire existence of the Miami Dolphins moving forward. There's a chance no other team in the NFL will ever score 70 points again, seeing as how it took 40-something years for it to happen a second time. There's a chance that never happens again. So you can't look at the overall season statistics that are inflated.
I'm gonna tell you right now,
single game anomaly.
We're putting up 50 plus against Vegas on Sunday.
No, I disagree.
We're putting up 50 plus against Vegas.
I disagree. I don't. It's a win. It's a win, and Pete was wrong. I got on your show, and I said this 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever, when Josh McDaniels got fired. I said, watch out for the Raiders over these next couple of weeks.
Oh, you did say it.
I did. I did say that. I never said that they were going to come into Miami and beat Miami, because they're not. They got their little juice up from getting the new head coach and getting all that. They got that out of their system, and now they get to come get their asses whooped by Miami. But we're not dropping 50. It's going to be, I don't know, 30, 34 points. The game will be 34-17, 34-20, something like that. 34, maybe 34-10 if this defense is truly turning the corner like it seems like they are. And then it's the Jets. Talk trash about the Jets all you want. Their offense is terrible, yes. But that offense is not very different from the offense they had last year, that they dropped 40 on the same Miami team in MetLife last year. 40. It's practically the same offense. And they put up 40 on this team last year at MetLife. I know you don't forget that, because you were there. So was I.
Yep.
I ain't forgetting that travesty of nonsense. But this offense the Jets have this year is really not very different from that offense they had last year that did 40 on us. Now, we had Teddy Bridgewater for 2 plays and then Skylar Thompson the rest of the game at offense on Miami, but our offense is not what gave up 40 points. That was the defense.
All right.
So I don't think we're losing to the Jets at all. I'm just saying it's a divisional game.
I am
speechless. Look what they did to us in New York last year. You can't count that. You can't rule them out as a possible loss in one of those 2 games.
So Vegas 75 says too much confirmation bias from this fan base. The Fins start trending up and we want to complain. Then when proven wrong on an assertion, they move the goalpost. Find another team, please.
Hey, I am looking for them to prove me wrong. They just haven't done it yet. Every opportunity they get to prove us wrong, they don't. That's all there is to it. You get a neutral site game against Kansas City. The defense plays an outstanding game, and the offense doesn't show up except for a quarter and a half of football. You can't do that. You can't play a quarter and a half of offensive football against the good teams. And if you look at the box scores on some of these other games against some of these lesser opponents, we're only getting a quarter and a half, 2 quarters of good football out of the offense. They're just exploding very quickly in those half of games and running away with the scores. They have yet that Denver game is the only game that they really put together a full 4 quarters of football on the offensive side. And a game like that hasn't happened in 40 some odd years and is never going to happen again.
Look, the
I
Dolphins.
want we have. I don't think we've had a game other than Denver where the offense scored at least once in each quarter. I haven't looked. I'm speculating on that. But I want this offense to show us what they seem to imply that they are. I want to see them do that for a whole game, and I want to see them do that against an opponent of quality. And we were saying before, and I pointed this out to you before, the whole narrative of not being able to beat winning teams. That if they lost to Kansas City, we were going to have to deal with it until Christmas. Well, they lost to Kansas City. Now we're going to have to deal with it until Christmas. The problem is that if you look at the Dallas media, the Cowboys are dealing with the exact same narrative that Miami is. Everybody in Dallas is saying they can't beat winning teams. They only beat up on the scrubs. They're doing the exact same thing.
When we face them on Christmas Eve, somebody's going to be right and somebody's going to be wrong.
But that's the problem, though, because each team is being accused of being frauds. I don't know that either team beating the other is going to be enough to eliminate that narrative completely.
Well,
short of a blowout. It would like what Dallas did to New York yesterday. That's what Dallas has to do to Miami, or Miami has to do to Dallas in order to end the narrative for one of the two teams in that game. If it's a close game if it's a close game or a low-scoring close game, and like anything like that, anything short of a one-sided blowout for one or the other, I think the narrative continues until the Buffalo game, and then I get the concern that it's not going to go away with the Baltimore. I'm sorry, Baltimore. Against Baltimore.
You had surgery this morning. You're on this medicine. You don't even believe what you're saying. This is not you. This is the medication you.
I'm not on any drugs yet.
You are.
I'm not on any drugs yet.
You are. You're definitely on some drugs right now.
Not yet. I'm still on the local anesthetic.
You're still on the local anesthetic? Why aren't you taking the drugs that they prescribed from you? How long have you been out of surgery?
Since like 9:45.
I can't with you. Just can't.
It hasn't worn off yet, so I haven't taken any pills yet.
I love you.
And I had to make sure my wits were with me to yell at you.
Well, go take your medicine, get better, okay? And tell Nikki I'm very disappointed that she.
You're not going to respond to you're not going to respond to anything I've said other than I'm disappointed you feel this way.
I am speechless because I can't believe that you took this narrative, because it's such an extreme narrative for you.
It's not extreme.
It is extreme.
I need this team.
Win the next. Let me ask you, do you think the Dolphins win the next 5 games?
Yes, I think they do. Yes.
Okay.
Now that being said, I would not be surprised if they go 4-1 or 3-2. I don't think they go 4-1, or I think 4-1 is way more likely than 3-2. But I think 5-0 is very realistic, and I think 5-0 is what they do. I'm still having trouble. I'm still having trouble washing out that MetLife game from last season while we're going into that at 3:00 on a short week. 3 p.m. on Friday. A short week for a divisional game on the road. I mean, there's if you look at it purely from that lens, it's a short week for a road divisional game. That is a setup for disappointment.
Whatever. Get out of here.
I worry about that.
I worry about you. Get off my show.
Don't worry about me. Worry about this team.
Worry about yourself. Okay?
No, worry about this team. Worry about them showing us what we need them to show us.
We are one game out of first of the AFC. I am not worried about this team. I'm just not. I'm not.
I mean, what's this?
The real Ryan talking. This is not the real Ryan.
What's this team's December record?
Okay.
How many games they win in December last year?
Not a lot.
Let's just leave it to Mike McDaniel. How many games did he win in December?
You guys want to and oh my God, you guys are too much. Too much. Too much. It's okay.
I mean, you are what you are until you show us you're something else.
I forgive you, Ryan. I forget.
Show us that you're the something else that you're trying to make us think
Get
you
off
are,
of my show so I can bring on
and
other
we'll be
people.
there. Hey, you're the one that has the button.
I do. You're gonna
You
make
don't.
me kick you off.
You want me here. You want me here. You need me on this
that
wall.
Knew that was coming. I love you, buddy. I'll talk to you later. Feel better. Feel better. Feel better. All right. I love you guys. You guys are good. A couple more people up here. I got 3 more people up here. You guys are the last 3. My man, Liv. What's up, Liv? 772.
What's going on,
Lil
Steve?
Liv. What's going on?
Nothing much, man. Nothing much, man. It's my first time being on your show, man. Yeah.
Well, welcome.
I feel like Eddie Murphy from Coming to America. I'm very happy to be here.
It's another beautiful day in Zamunda. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Did you happen to catch the professional football contest last night? It was most exhilarating. The Packers or the Giants of New York took on the Packers of Green Bay. And in the end, the game was won by kicking an out long pigskin through a big H. It was most exhilarating. Lay off the drugs. Yeah. Such a good. I love that movie. Good movie.
Yes, my favorite movie. Yeah, man, I like your optimism with the Miami Dolphins, but man, like seriously, I'm more of a realist, and
I'm being real too.
I'm being okay, but you was talking about the Raiders, like Raiders gonna be Raiders.
They are
okay, but it's fans around the country feel like Dolphins be Dolphins. And we always fail. And we always fail. What at the end of the season? We always do.
Do I call how do I say Lil V or Liv?
It's Lil V.
Lil V. All right, Lil V. Let me ask you something, Lil V.
Yeah.
Are the Dolphins in first place in the AFC East?
Steve, I totally get.
Are they in first place, sir? Good sir.
Okay.
First time on my show,
I get that. I get the whole 6-3. I totally get that.
Like, what do you want from the Dolphins? Like, I get you want them to be a contending, like an elite team. I get that. And
we all want that, but the thing is, I want them to be consistent.
They are. If anything, they're probably the most consistent team in the NFL.
Yeah, currently, yes, but we're talking about
they're not the most, but
we're talking about past seasons. Past seasons.
I'm not talking about this past seasons. I'm talking about this season.
Okay,
I can only go off this
season,
year.
Yes, this season, yes. They look good right now, but guess what? We're getting ready to head to November and December.
Okay. And I get and just like my buddy Ryan said, let me know how they do in December. I get it. I understand.
And the Raiders, the next game we play the Raiders, right? We'll beat them, but the team I'm really worried about the Jets.
Why?
Okay, we all the biggest thing was Zach Wilson. All they gotta do is change quarterbacks. They got a backup quarterback.
All right,
and they might start him on Black Friday, because you gotta realize they play the Bills this week. They already beat the Bills.
All right, let's get something straight. They no longer have Joe Flacco or Mike White. Okay, we not worried about no Zach. Whoever with the Jets, that trash team.
Okay, the biggest thing they have on the field is what? The camera. When that day comes, if they do activate that backup quarterback, they don't have no film to study quarterback.
Dude, we have lost. All right, time out. Lil V. We have lost to the elite teams in the NFL this year.
Okay, but that's a division game.
If you don't want to say Buffalo's elite, that's fine, because I don't think they are. But they're a divisional opponent who's had our number for years. So with the exception of Buffalo, the 2 other games we lost were against the elite of elite.
Yes, but I'm talking. You got to win your division games to get in the playoffs.
Okay,
we haven't played the Jets yet.
Okay. All right, don't come on my show on that Monday when we have killed them on Black Friday.
I totally get. I understand this. I understand this is a Miami Dolphins pro channel, but I'm being real. I'm being
real, Lil V.
Okay. I'm being a realist right now. But and we're going to New York, and like I said, all it takes for them is to change the quarterback, and they don't have no tape.
You think they're going to be a totally different team with their backup quarterback?
You never know, man. This is the NFL. The second half of the season, you got a lot of teams that are not going to the playoffs, but they don't mind knocking a potential team out the playoffs. Look what Detroit did to the Packers last season.
All right. Losing to good teams and winning against bad teams is still consistency, I guess. Fins up. All right, time out. Let's get something straight. We are beating good teams and beating bad teams. We are losing against the elite teams, okay? We need to get over elite teams, okay? The next 5 games, I can't help that the Dolphins, the next 5 game play against scrubs. But when we go 5-0,
I'm not saying the next 5 teams that we play are scrubs. It's all about timing and execution.
Okay.
And like I said, the Raiders, we should beat the Raiders, but you never know with this interim coach they got. You don't know what they got cooking up. But I'm keeping my eyes on the Jets. We're playing them in New York. We should be able to beat the Commanders. We should be able to, and we should beat the Titans.
Where do you live, Lil V?
I live in Florida.
Where are you at in Florida?
I'm on the Treasure Coast.
Okay, all right.
Port St. Lucie, Fort Pierce area.
All right, right there. Got the Port St. Lucie Mets there for years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, man.
Yeah.
Enjoy the sun. Enjoy the good weather in South Florida. Okay. Enjoy.
I always do.
Okay. But the Dolphins are not losing the next 5. And I'm being a realist when I tell you that the Dolphins, in my opinion, have probably been one of the most consistent teams in the NFL. The 2 games out of the 3 that we lost were against the 2 teams in the. I keep on bringing that's been my argument against everybody today, and that's fine. I'm calling myself on it, but there's no other argument to be said. Now, if we lose
and another
1
thing,
out of the next 5 games or 2 out of the next 5 games,
another
if you
thing,
want to come up here,
Dolphins, another thing, the Dolphins need to dominate immediately the first half. First half, they need to just put points up. Because second half, when they're like behind, like even though it was with the Bills, the Eagles, and the Chiefs, but when it goes into the second half of the game or that last quarter, I just feel like Tua, he don't have that it factor to come back. He don't have that it factor. I love the guy. I got his jersey.
Lil B, I'm disappointed in you. We talking about the man that was down 28 points last year that came back. We're talking about the man that was down 14 points this year to Carolina that came back. What are we talking about?
That was a fluke game with it happens every once in a while.
That's a fluke game. That's
even like what we put up a 70 burger. We put up a 70 burger on the Broncos. Okay, that's once in a blue moon. But I'm saying when we play from behind, sometimes Tua just be looking. He be looking a little nervous, man. Seriously, he be looking a little nervous.
Lil V, I like you, man. I appreciate you watching my show, but I can't endorse what you're saying, man. The man is the most confident he has ever been in his career.
I'm not gonna lie, he does look good this season. He does look good.
He's playing like an MVP this season.
Yeah. I give him that. I'm giving him that. But I'm just saying, Dolphins as an organization, as a team, this second half of the team is important.
You got PTSD. You got Dolphins PTSD. That's what you got. That's
what I got.
Real thing. I'm a doctor, and I'm diagnosing you with Dolphins PTSD. And the only prescription for it is hopium. That's it. That's all you got. I'm here to give it to you, my guy.
How many milligrams you gonna give me?
I'll give you 100 cc's of it, my guy. Pure grade, unfiltered, authentic, blue magic hopium. Okay? I'm telling you right now.
Oh, you Frank Lucas. Okay, Frank Lucas.
Look, I guarantee it. I stand behind it.
I want that. I want that. Hey, I damn sure want 5-0 the next 5 weeks. I damn sure want that. But I'm just looking at it. You know, I just got a feeling, man. Jets gonna come with a different strategy because they play the Bills. They already beat the Bills. So if they lose to the Bills, it's 1-1 with that team for them. And then they play us. That game is important for the Jets. Seriously, that's an important game.
Look, the Dolphins, when it's all said and done, are going to be right where they need to be, and that's playing for the number 1 seed at the end of the year. And they are. They're going to do that. And I'm going to be excited. And when y'all come back after 5 weeks saying, man, Steven, you was right, man. You was right.
Oh, I would eat crow. I would eat crow. I come right in the channel and I say, yeah. But I want the Dolphins to be in the playoffs. Well, I damn sure want them to be in the playoffs.
I just want to make sure.
Because this
hey,
looks like
Lil B, you got to come back on the show, man. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem. Take care.
Thank you for watching the show and endorsing it, man. Sign up to become a member, man. Sign up. Become part of the family.
All right. I'll pop my collar and become part of the family.
All right, man. I appreciate it, Lil V. Be good, man.
Yeah.
All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show. Batman. What's up, Batman? Batman, I've been get on camera, Batman, because this has been ridiculous today. Just absolutely ridiculous. All these people with these takes today have been ridiculous, Batman. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it.
See, it started with Lewis. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
It started with Lewis capping, and then your boy Key and Pio came on here, and he was capping too.
Yep.
Like, come on, what is going? Like, at the end of the day, look, you got all these fans that, oh, we haven't beat any real good teams. Like that's the narrative. Like you're following the national media narrative, and now you're starting to believe it. Like, at what point do you tell yourself, look, am I a real fan or what? That's what I want to know. And I'm calling everybody out. Wilding Out Monday. Like, listen, I understand you could have concerns. I could understand. And you made a great point, Steven. A lot of people have at fault for this game. But it just seems that everybody that has always been optimistic about, pessimistic about this team, the Von Joes and so on, the Pete's, they just want to come out and blame Greer to McDaniel.
That's all they want to do. They want to be negative. They just want to be negative and just blame. Like, look, here's the thing. You're not going undefeated in a season. It's not happening, okay? And you want this is what I tried to tell people last year or in the offseason. You want the Dolphins to go from, what was our record last year, Batman?
9-8. 9-8.
Right? And all of a sudden go out and win 13 or 14 games, which they can do, by the way. Okay, that's still on the table. But you want them to make that such a significant of a jump. And in today's NFL, that just doesn't happen. Now, all you got to do is get in and get hot. That's all you got to do. Now,
look at the Bengals. Look at the Bengals 2 years ago. They 100%. Got hot.
I think that at the end of the day, the Dolphins are winning the next 5. And then the last 3 are Dallas at home, Baltimore, and the Bills at home, right? We're one of the best teams at home in general this year in the NFL. Nobody's playing better at home than the Dolphins in the NFL this year. So there's no, that's why I think we're putting up 50 points on the Raiders on Sunday.
Oh yeah.
I
see it.
Yeah, we're gonna put up 50 points.
I could understand the narrative, like, oh, okay, they won their last 2 games. That's fine, that's all cute. But at the end of the day, you're coming to the Rock. We know the record here at the Rock. We win games, simple and plain.
We win games at the Rock. So
that's it. We just gotta come out strong. Look, we gotta come out strong. Don't underestimate, like we play every team. Don't underestimate the team you playing. Play Dolphin football. Listen, we know we're gonna tear it up. Leo Meichenberg has his best games in Miami. So hey, it's gonna be a fun time, and we're gonna get this dub for sure.
I do like that you just said Liam Eichenberg plays his best games.
Yeah. He plays great. Listen, when Liam Eichenberg plays in Miami, you got Lewis, Irving, you got all these guys hyping him up and prepping him up and making him look like he's the next coming of Mike Pouncey. But that's because he's in Miami. He's playing home games. But hey, it is what it is. But hey, we want Liam Eichenberg to come out, play strong in Miami like he always does. And continue the success that we have here in Miami. The defense coming alive last game. Everything clicking. Think about it like this, Steven. As good as we played Denver, right? Here in Miami, right? And we dropped 70 on them. Our defense was playing great that game, but it wasn't even back yet. The defense is back now. And let the offense and the defense be in sync. Obviously, I'm still all forward with Danny Crossman. Hashtag fire Danny Crossman. But that's besides the point. I'm going to get this W. We're going to get together, Steven. Maybe you could give me a call later tonight so we could talk about hosting the Tailgreeter, Miami Sports Music, this Sunday at the game, pregame show.
We'll definitely talk, man. I'll hit you up.
We'll be good for that. I think the homie Lewis said he was going to come. He's going to try to come by, so he's going to help out if he comes to the game. So it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, man. I will. I'll hit you up, man. If not tonight, tomorrow. We'll definitely take care of it. Tell the people about the Finsaholic show.
Finsaholics, man. I haven't done a show in like almost 2 months, but hey, I'm gonna do a show for sure this week. Hopefully Wednesday. Got a basketball game tomorrow, so Wednesday. So everybody tune in, man. I haven't been back. Shout out to Adam Sadowski. You know, I haven't even shouted him out yet because I haven't done a show. You know, for winning last week. But yeah, a lot of prizes, man. Fins up. Everybody have a beautiful Monday. Welcome back, Steven. We missed you. Everybody was like, we got to get a wellness check on Steven. I think Steven's just having a bye week himself too. He needs some rest. He does a show every weekday here for us on Miami Sports Music.
I know. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that a lot. It's always good when people, understand what you go through on a week in, week out basis.
Well, fins up. Everybody have a beautiful day. Let's get this W on Sunday.
Be good, man. All right. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. The other day, I did do a great show with the touchdown with Doug Smith. And after today's show, if you guys could go watch it, I just dropped the link in the chat for everybody. It is the link to the touchdown with Doug Smith with me as his guest. And it's about a 35 minute conversation where we talk about Mike McDaniel and his personality and how that, is pros and cons to him as a coach. But I would love for you guys to go check it out. The touchdown with Doug Smith. It's really good stuff. Go support the homie. Doug, he's great, and we love the touchdown with Doug Smith. It's a great show, and I appreciated allowing me to come on and be a guest. If you want me to be a guest in the show, just hit me up. We'll set it up, man. Definitely want to do some more shows. So, all right, a couple more people, and then we're out of here. Anthony, what's up, man? Real quick.
Hey, Steven. Could we go back to you brought up the Eagles and the Chiefs?
Yep.
I'm getting sick and tired of getting placated by these moral victories. I understand. I'm getting sick and tired of being placated by these moral victories. Holding a team to their lowest output. Honestly, I'm getting sick and tired of this. I want to beat the good teams. I don't want to be placated by these bullshit moral victories, man.
Right,
I'm sick and tired of it.
Anthony, let me break it down for you though. A football season is 17 weeks plus the postseason, and then if you can get to the Super Bowl, right? So it's about evolving in like most NFL seasons. A team gets better throughout the year and eventually finds their stride, and then they move forward, right? And making a championship run. That's what's happening here. We have a season we have to play. You know how you get to the Super Bowl? By playing the regular season. And part of playing the regular season is you're going to get better. You're going to move some things. You're going to evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going to happen. You got to learn where your weaknesses are, where your strengths are, all of this stuff. So that when you get to the postseason and you play against these good and elite teams, you know where you stand. You know where your strengths are and your weaknesses are. And so for these 3 games against Buffalo, Philadelphia, and Kansas City, we know where we need to improve upon. Yes, it sucks that we haven't won. Yes, we know that we need to, make some changes and move forward in other places in order to be able to overcome that hump and beat those teams. We're going to get another couple of opportunities this season to do that. Now, the next 5 weeks aren't going to be a part of that. So what do you do the next 5 weeks? You go out there and you take care of business. And that's what the Dolphins are going to do in the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, I understand. But Steven, do you understand where I'm coming from? I'm getting sick and tired of these moral victories.
As a fan, you're like, I don't want to see the moral victory. I don't want to see, I want us to do it. And I get that. I'm with you on that, Anthony. But understand, you can only play the opponent in front of you, and you can only change what has happened, right? And so understand this. This is the best this Dolphins team has looked in the past 20 plus years, without a doubt, unequively.
Steven, I have a question for you. Actually, when it comes to these, what game? I understand you feel that you think we're gonna go 5-0, but what team in these next 5 games do you feel we can have a legitimate chance of losing? Where it's a game that we don't see? No. Taking away your hopium, taking away the hopium, being and taking the fandom out of it, being realistic, what team in the next 5 games can you see us losing to? Not being blown out, but
I'll answer it like this, Anthony. The Raiders come into town. They're 2-0 with their new head coach, right? And they got this guy, Aiden O'Connell, who's playing some pretty decent football. But the Dolphins are playing the best football they have played. As a matter of fact, there's no team at home in the past 20 years in the NFL that has played as well as the Dolphins have played at home this year. There's no
even our undefeated team. Even our undefeated team.
I said 20 years. I said 20 years.
Okay.
So with that being said, I don't see us losing on Sunday to the Raiders. I don't care how much they've improved or whatever like that. So I think we're going to win on Sunday. Now we play on a short week on Thanksgiving week, the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday. Yes, there are some things that you got to take into account. Number one, are these players going to be celebrating Thanksgiving on Thanksgiving? Are they going to be eating the way that we all eat on Thanksgiving? And how are they going to feel the day after, right? My thought is they're not. They're going to treat this as a week. They're probably going to travel on Thanksgiving, get there the day before, hang out, do whatever, and then celebrate Thanksgiving the week that weekend. We've played on short weeks before. We have won some games in recent past on national TV. We've also lost, but I think that we're going to be fine.
I think we have a losing record on a short week, though. As a Dolphins team, I think.
I understand. And I understand that we're going to New York, but they don't have Aaron Rodgers. They have Zach Wilson.
Oh, by the way, they're predicting. They're actually, Steven, you brought up Aaron. They're actually saying he might be back for the Dolphins game.
Yeah. In December 17th at Hard Rock, not a week and a half from now. That's not.
No, they're saying for their home game.
He's not going to be back. He in no way, shape, or form will be back for Black Friday.
You don't think he's a freak? You don't think Aaron, like they showed him multiple times walking perfectly on that leg?
I could see him maybe playing the December 17th game at Hard Rock, but there is no way that he's playing in the Black Friday game.
You think that's just the media wanting him to play?
Look, I think that Aaron Rodgers has different ways of going about his recovery rather than traditional medicine. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I do see him walking perfectly fine out there on the sidelines. I don't know, but I know this. I don't care how great their defense is. Miami's going to beat New York in New York on Black Friday. Like I'm just, there's no way that they're losing to that team. Not going to happen.
Okay. What team realistically can you see us losing?
There, right?
Okay.
So then we play the Commanders on December the 3rd. Sam Howell's having a great year, right? Mm-hmm. That Commanders team's interesting. There's some games that they're good, and they're not keeping up with us, and they don't have an elite defense. So we're going to beat Washington on the pure fact that that team is average at best. Okay. So we're beating Washington. Then we come back home again, Tennessee, Monday Night Football, right? Tennessee on Monday Night Football. If you want a trap game, maybe it's that game, because maybe they're looking forward to the Jets game at home. And if I had to give you a game that they might possibly lose for no other reason than it's a trap game, is probably that Tennessee game. They're going to overlook them. They're not a great team. Dolphins don't necessarily play well on Monday Night Football. That it's entirely plausible. Entirely plausible.
Actually, I'll give you. I see the Jets game. Is that the game before the Cowboys? The Jets game?
Yeah, well, yeah. So by the way, so I'm going to answer your question. So the Titans maybe is a trap game. And then the following week is the Jets game, December 17th at home. And I just don't see us losing that. And honestly, even if Aaron Rodgers does come back, you don't think the Dolphins defense is going to be all ready to eat that man up in his first game back? Like, let that happen. Please let that happen. I guarantee you it'll get flexed to Sunday night.
The reason why I bring up the Jets game, Steven, the reason why I bring up the Jets game is because we're going to be overlooking the Jets going to the Cowboys game the next week on Christmas. Is that the Thursday game? Is Christmas Eve on Thursday or Sunday? this year?
Christmas Eve is on Sunday.
Okay, yeah, that's the game I fear is a trap game because we're gonna be overlooking them going into the Cowboys game on Christmas Eve.
Not a trap game.
Why?
Because it's the Cowboys and they're going to be ready to play, and that's going to be the
no. I'm saying the Jets game is going to be the Jet. We're going to be overlooking the Jets going into that Cowboys game.
A trap game cannot be a divisional opponent.
Why?
Because it's a divisional opponent.
But we're saying the Jets are a horrible team.
It doesn't matter. We were shitty for years, and we found a way to beat the Patriots because we were ready to play them.
Okay, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, but what I'm saying in general, people think we're gonna blow out the. Our fan base thinks we're gonna.
Anthony, your question to me was, what team do you think ultimately, if I had to guess out of the next 5, could we see us maybe, possibly, maybe losing? And I think that there's a trap game in the Tennessee game because there's a lot of factors that play into it. But I don't see us losing at home. Like, I just don't. So I think we're going 5-0 the next 5, Anthony, man.
Yeah, I see 4-1, and I think it's a Jets game because of the Cowboys game the next week. For me, I feel it's the Jets game going into the Cowboys game the following week, to be honest, because I'm kind of worried about that because we're overlooking the Jets because of the better team in the Cowboys and stuff like that.
We'll have to see. All right, Anthony, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much for coming on and talking. Last person of the day, my man, Cap for Life. What's up, Cap?
Hey, Steven. How are you, man?
I'm back. I'm here, man.
How you feeling, man? You feel your inner chi? You feel cleansed? You feel you're one with nature and away from.
I have found my Tai Chi. I am getting one with nature. Yes, I am trying to find my Zen.
Excellent. Okay, so I mean, I'm I'm kind of surprised by the outcome of the way things are this morning. I think I've been in the past like week myself stating that 6-3, that's not bad. You know what I mean? Like, it's in a situation where, yeah, like you said before, we can be one game away from being in first, but we can also be one game away from being tied for the division again. Like, we gotta stay focused moving forward if we want to get those 5 in a row. I mean, I think this year, we got 5 games in December, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if that's true or not, but I mean, in order for us to do what we got to do what we have never done before. You know what I mean?
I think that the Miami Dolphins, are sitting in a very, very good position compared to most teams around the NFL. They're one game. They're in first place all by themselves in their division, right? They essentially control their own destiny, to be fair. And they have they're leading most statistical offensive categories, and the ones that they're not, they're second, third, or fourth, right? So they're tops in there, and their defense is becoming elite. And we saw that when Jalen Ramsey and X are on the field together. That's a fun pair to watch, those two, right? So it's a totally different thing. Devon Achane is coming back. That's exciting. Some of these other guys with injuries are starting to come back. The Dolphins, I think, I'm telling you right now, I've never been this excited for the Dolphins. That's honestly how I'm looking forward to this game and how they're moving forward. For me, the Dolphins are doing exactly what they need to do to set themselves up for success, so that when they play Dallas, Baltimore, Buffalo, they're going to be set up and understand, okay, these are the mistakes we made in Buffalo, Philly, and Kansas City. We cannot make them against Dallas, Baltimore, and whatever. Baltimore is going to be the biggest test out of all of them, right? But we got to get to Baltimore, which means we got to play the next 6 weeks. And you can only play the opponent in front of you. And I predict the next 5 weeks, we're gonna take care of business. And to be perfectly honest, after that 5 weeks, I'll probably say that we're gonna win that 6th game against Dallas too. Now Dallas is gonna put up They're a good defense. They're a really good defense. They're not elite, but they're really good. And so, that's kind of where I'm at with the team and moving forward personally.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 week aspect of us getting healthy is not really talked upon. I mean, even though that's a big plus for us. Like these guys, like you said, everybody coming back, everybody like knowing what we need to do moving forward as a defensive unit now. It looks like they've been together for a while. It's just, we got to keep that train going and let Fangio do what he does. And for people to stop second guessing him is at this point is just irrelevant. Like let these guys learn together, let them fail together at this point. But yeah, it could be.
And by the way, to kind of elaborate, well, how do the Dolphins lose? I mean, the Dolphins lose because of I said this earlier in the show. They lose because of a multitude of reasons. It's not any one thing. In years past, we can definitely go to and say, well, coaching sucked and recruiting sucked and talent sucked, and we just didn't have anything what it takes to win, right? And years past. Now these games that we're losing, it's like, well, we can go back to 5 or 6 plays, or we can go back to 2 or 3 different decisions. And it's a lot smaller things, but they're multitudes, not any one thing. And for me, that is a sign of where the Dolphins are at now compared to where they were in the past. And I look at the Dolphins and I say, okay, well, we're sitting 6-3. We just had a bye week. We got 2 weeks off. We're in the second week off. We're starting, to get healthier. We're getting people that are coming back. Devon Achan's coming off the IR today. He's on the 20-day window.
Really?
Yep, he came off the IR this morning. He's on the 20-day window to be back officially. So you bring on Devon Achan back. I mean, come on. We all saw how he was doing before he got hurt. Paired up with Raheem Mostert. I mean, that's going to be fun to watch. That 1-2 shakeup. You got to believe that Tua is, learning from some of the mistakes that he made in Philly and Kansas City, and he's going to expand upon those so that when we play Dallas and Baltimore, he'll be ready to go. I understand that we lost those games. I get it. I'm not making excuses for it. And I can listen to the people that say, well, you got to show me. You got to show me that you can beat those teams.
Well, we all said 13 and what? 13 and 4, 12 and 5. Like we're expecting a couple more losses. If not, that's great. But like losing 3 at this point, we knew this was going to be at the midway point where we want to be. Is exactly where we want to be.
It's exactly where we want to be. And by the way, anybody like I'll repeat myself. If I told every single Dolphins fan that listens to my show, hey, the Dolphins are going to be 1 game ahead of the division in first place. They're going to be 1 game out of first place in the entire AFC. They're going to have 2 players that are potential MVP candidates and potential rookie of the year candidate. And 2 was playing at an elite level. Everybody would raise their hand and say, sign me up. Like, I'm not giving you anything else. I'm giving you just those. Everybody would have said, sign me up for it. I'm ready to go. Everybody would have. And that's where we're at. So why are people saying, oh my God, this is, we're not good, or we are good. There's a reason that there's a regular season in sports. And that's to separate the good teams from the bad teams. And the Dolphins are a good team. They will separate themselves from the rest of the pack. And by the time we get to the postseason, we're going to know what team the Miami Dolphins are.
But when is good going to become great, Steven?
That we will find that out in December. We will get our answer in December. Guaranteed. We will know in December. But you got to play October. You got to play November first. Got to play November. And they will. And they will. And we'll be fine. We'll be fine. All right, Cap. I love you, brother. Be good, man.
Love you, brother. Take care.
Yep. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. If you enjoyed today's show, donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. Even if it's $1, it goes such a long way into helping the channel grow. If you're not able to donate, that's fine too. Hit the like button and share the link. Let people know that we're here. Tomorrow's Tuesday. Tomorrow, I think, is tomorrow the drinking show? It might be the drinking show with our man, DJ Genesis. I'm going to have to call him up today just to make sure. But I'm pretty sure it's the drinking show with Genesis for his birthday. So get ready for tomorrow. Tomorrow should be a fun, crazy show. So that'll be good. What else we got, man? Wednesday is going to be Wilding Out Wednesday. Thursday, Tamaris will be back with Cameron. Friday, we'll have Jason Sarney on. It'll be a good show. Make sure you guys, again, go check out that show, the quick 30-minute show with my man Doug. It was a lot of fun doing the show with him on his channel, The Touchdown with Doug Smith. I just dropped the link in there. Go watch it. It was a great show. Had fun with Doug. Thank you so much for watching this morning. It was a lot of fun. I know a lot of you missed me. I missed y'all. Go follow me at Stephen D SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. It was a good show today. Thank you everybody who showed up. Stephen, when is your birthday? Finland P says my birthday is August 13th, man. Manalo says Color wants to speak with you. I dropped the link for Color. He never came. The link was in there. I put the link in there for Color. Scroll back up. I put it in there. Hot Take Tuesday. Get your pocket money and popcorn ready. All right. I'll put the pause on ending the show. Hold on. Color wants to come on. I'll bring Color on. Color.
Well,
What's up, man?
Stephen D? Glad you could finally drag your rear out of bed and do a show, man.
I know.
The whole world's falling apart, man, while you were gone. The narrative's been lost. You know, we're nothing but frauds.
Yeah, we are. We're just a fraudulent team in a fraudulent system in a fraudulent league.
Oh, it's so ridiculous, man. Like, I just want to know, are we going to decide to talk about the past or not? Like,
what do you mean?
We got to decide, are we going to include the past or not? Or are we just going to start with, since the obvious change of head coach, you know, which we've now had for a season and a half, or are we going to continue to go because we choked in 1998 or whatever, that has any bearing on whether we're frauds or not right now?
So you got to remember, you know,
I mean, if we're going to decide to do that, then I'm going to talk about last year's games, and I'm not going to have somebody turn around and say, "Oh, well, that was last year."
I'm not bringing that up. You're not getting that argument.
It happens all the time because what I have to say is going to include games from last year.
All right, so let me give you let me give you that argument, right? Color, like, I hear the argument from people. Number one, this is a totally different team than it was 4 years ago.
Well, I understand that, but before we talk about that, I want to make sure we're operating in the paradigm that we're allowed to bring up previous years, because
I guess
people are going to say 30 years ago we choked and that's why we're going to choke now, then I'm going to say, guess what? We beat the Detroit Lions last year, who had the 4th ranked offense when we faced them in their house. Now, granted, their defense was horrid last year, 32nd. Ours was too. Now, both of these defenses are better, obviously. Yet, when I look at the Detroit Lions' schedule this year, I'm looking at a loss to, they got a 1-point victory on the Chiefs. The Chiefs scored 20 on them. They scored 21 on us, 14 on offense, to be exact. And we only scored 14, and the Detroit Lions got that extra touchdown and scored 21 on them. Whoop-de-doo. Then I'm looking at losses to Baltimore, 38-6. You know, I mean, you're talking about a mediocre win against the Raiders, 26-14. Yet and I would argue that their path has been just about like ours has. We played each other last year. We ended up winning that one. And so far, we both have high-powered offenses. And so far, both of our defenses have improved greatly. Theirs got off to a quicker start than ours did. But they're also working with continuity on the defensive coaching. So,
as I stated earlier, Color, teams don't just wake up one day and become elite. There's an evolution to the
exactly.
And
my question is, what? I don't know. I don't visit Detroit Lions fan spaces or whatever, but I don't know of anybody in the NFC North that's calling the Detroit Lions frauds this year.
They're not.
They haven't proven anything. And if you want to go to the 30-year history, are we going to bring up the fact that they are an 0-16 team? They are one of only 2 teams that didn't win a game the entire season. They don't have to prove anything. They don't have to beat the good teams to prove anything.
Most people with their arguments will use it to take their side of a narrative, which you know that. I don't have to tell you that. But it doesn't work the other way around when you try to bring that.
Well, no, because you're right. Because if I were to be honest here, all I'm doing is saying that there's 2 frauds. My question is why our fans are not sitting here pointing that out instead of using them as an example of a bad team that we beat up on.
Because they're only focused on what's in front of them.
And I've never been the one to call anybody's fandom into question, but it is understandable why somebody's like, well, dang, if you think we're frauds and you think the Lions aren't, when you're talking about similar paths and trajectories and histories, like, sounds like you already picked a better team. You know what I mean? If you're calling us frauds and not calling them frauds, not only are you not calling them frauds, but you're using, not you, Steven, but they're using them as an example of a bad team we beat.
They're using that because they have no other narrative to say. They have no other narrative to push except for what's in front of them. You got to remember, the Dolphins for the last 20 years have been mediocre at best, right? And they have had a carousel of head coaches. They've had a carousel of quarterbacks, offensive coordinators, the works.
And we followed that up with a mediocre record last year, for sure.
Well, we've signed players to multi-million-dollar contracts, and it has not worked out. We've signed coaches, said that they were going to be the savior, and then 2 or 3 years later, they've rotated out the door and haven't worked out. So I understand where the Dolphins fans' reservations come from. I understand where their hesitation.
Of course, but I don't understand why somebody has to get on a soapbox and repeat it to the whole world 1,000 times for every single day of their life. Like, we're in the middle of a season. If you don't think we're going to win, then just say you don't think we're going to win, say we're frauds, and then let's have a boring ass conversation the rest of the day.
I hear you on that, Color. But
I mean, how can you argue against you're going to lose because for the last 30 years you've choked? How can anybody argue against that?
Because we have choked for 30 years.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
What is the sense of getting on social media, engaging in a debate with somebody just to shut it down by using subjective, abstract things like we haven't proven we can beat the good teams yet? Yes, we have. We have proven that we have the ability to. Have we done it yet? I'd argue yes. Some would argue no, in the big stage, in their house. Okay, fine. But nobody's going to sit here and convince me that we don't have the ability to. Just because in the last 30 years, we always get to this point and blow it. Well, guess what? If you're going to, if that's what I'm arguing against and debating against, I've lost. There's nothing I can, that's unfalsifiable, Stephen D. There's no way to counter that argument. If somebody's going to just throw at you, we do this all the time, to every single point I make about why I'm convinced we're going to get that victory.
Well, you can only argue with people that want to hear your side of the debate. If they are not willing to hear your side, then it's not an argument.
Of course, because to outright deny to ignore what I'm saying, and then to say that we haven't beaten. They even have calculated the number of days, Stephen D, since we've beaten a good team. The number of days, bro. And you know what's funny about it? Why they think that they're being smug and snobbish and smart, they're really just being wise asses. Because we beat Buffalo last year.
We did.
I don't care if it was the second game of the season.
We did. 100%.
We beat the Ravens last year in their house.
Yep. And now the Ravens got to, and now we got to go to the Ravens again. So it's whatever.
We beat the Chargers this year. And I know the chat's going to erupt in laughter, me saying that. Okay. Maybe they're not elite anymore. Oh boy, they were last year when they beat us. We've corrected that error and beat them right out of the gate in their house.
The Dolphins
and
are
now
exactly where they
you're
need
telling
to be.
me that the Detroit Lions, that nobody's calling a fraud, has to score 41 points to beat the Chargers yesterday. We had to score 36 to do it. And people are going to tell me the Chargers ain't a good team because their record is one game now below 500. Because the Lions had to put 41 points on them to drop them below 500.
No.
And guess what we did? When they came into the game, first game of the season, guess what they were? Well, actually 0%. But if you count zeros as a 1, they were 500. And guess what we did? We took 36 points to drop them below 500. We did exactly to them what the Lions did to them yesterday.
They did. You're right.
But nobody's saying, oh, that's a fake win.
And they won't. They won't do that. They won't.
That's a
all right,
fraudulent win.
Keller, I hear. I gotta go.
I'm out. I know you gotta go. I'm out. I'll catch you up whenever this whole gig earns me enough money to pay my swear jar. I just had to get that out because it's just a foolish narrative. And if you want to live in that narrative, and if you want to live in, we are what we are and we choke and blah blah blah. Okay, fine. Just don't debate with me because you've shut down the debate. You've shut down the conversation when you do that.
Mama, because I ain't here to debate with you if you're going to do that. I hear you.
I mean, it's boring. It's the debate is shut down.
I hear you. I hear you, man.
If I'm sitting here trying to discuss with you how the beginning of the universe started, and you just bring me an unfalsifiable proposition, I'm not going to argue with you anymore. There's no argument against that.
It all started with a big bang. That's what they say in the song. Get out of here, Color. I love you.
It's boring. And it's just boring. I don't want to do it anymore. I want to talk about how we can win.
We're going to win.
And I may be foolish for doing that, but I'm going to bring everything I've brought to the table is logically sound as to why I should expect us to win any game that I've talked about this year. And for somebody to just say, oh, well, because in 1995 we missed a field goal in San Diego, but sorry, I can't help you there. You're just bent on you're a glutton for misery. So I'll leave you with that, Stevie D. You have a great day, man.
All right, man. Love it. Can't make everybody happy. Guys, I hope you all enjoyed the show today. Hit the like button. Donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. Tomorrow is going to be a great show. We hope you enjoyed today's show. I know I did. It was a lot of fun. We got a big show lined up for you tomorrow, so come and hang out with us. It's going to be good times. If you guys need anything, hit me up at Stephen D. SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. Reminder, get your FedEx takeover tickets on Tailgreeter. Download the app today. All-inclusive tailgate and bus tickets are still available, all right? Hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Peace.
He knowing when to go with fits, so we knowing when to switch. This year we got the golden pick. Time to see what that pick about. Bad vibes get sent out. Only fans up in this house. We been waiting, yeah, we been patient. Now it's time to cash out, no discount. Super Bowl, yeah, we en route. I don't know when, but it's close.